Hey guys, welcome to Green Bean Fiction. So in today's video we are gonna see what if Deku became Dark Hero and had Harem. Before starting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are interested in MHA fanfictions. This story is Dark Hero Justice by Armored Lord 1115. Now without wasting any more time, let's dive in. No one Pav. Izuku is seen waking up from his sleep. Just recently they had their school festival where they made a concert in hopes of making Eri smile while also having the other student relax after the League of Villains' relentless attack against Ua, but that came into a halt when their leader AFO was taken down by the Symbol of Peace All Might, who lost his power and retire, leaving Izuku to carry the mantle of Symbol of Peace, which Izuku intended to fully do. Now he stood up and cracked his shoulder as he was training the whole night and needed shower to ease his sore muscle. After finally having his shower, he put on his school uniform. Looking at himself in the mirror, he gave a smile as he knew that he came so far with him coping with being quirkless for 11-12 years. Then he received the Symbol of Peace power, trained it to have control over it all, and all he couldn't be any more prouder of himself and achievement. Izuku then opened the door of his dorm room and walked outside to prepare breakfast. It was still 30 minutes early before classes start, so he walked downstairs only to meet with nobody, which kind seem odd for Izuku as some of his classmates are early birds like Yaoyorozu, Tenya Iida, Rikido Sato, Katsuki Bakugo. But he never give it much thought, as it's something not worth it since he need to eat his daily cereal before he leave to the main building, or he will have to suffer Aizawa-sensei wrath as he involuntarily shiver at the prospect of having an angry Aizawa. Once finished, he brushed his teeth before he took his yellow school bag and put on his famous red shoes that he doesn't seem to change at all ever since the age of 4. He walked outside to find himself in the first-year hallway. It was empty with no teacher at all and no student, which was weird for Izuku given that there are students here and there even an hour before classes start. But something was wrong as his fight and flight are going haywire, telling him to run away, but he thought that's him being paranoid. After all, he had lack of sleep the last night. Izuku could only think, I really need to tone down my training, it's affecting me. Finally reaching the tall door that is Class 1A, he swung it open and said, "Good morning, guys." But he received not the usual morning or good morning. No, he was welcomed by full-blown killer intent which was directed to him, which made him tense as Shoji tentacle wrapped around Izuku, allowing an enhanced Sato to connect a powerful gut punch to Izuku, making him vomit. Uraraka's voice was heard as she said, "Now do you remember what you did, traitor?" Izuku, who was holding his stomach in pain, gave a confused look and asked, "Is this some sort of prank? Because if it is, then it's not funny." Sato attempted another punch as Tokiyami Dark Shadow took the full brunt of Sato attack with Kaminari, saying, "What is the meaning of this, Tokiyami?" Kaminari, clearly unhappy with Izuku being protected, as Tsuyu came next to Tokiyami and said, "We don't even know if the video is true, hold any truth." Uraraka then said, "Why can't you understand, Tsu? The evidence is enough." Tsuyu didn't have the chance to answer the question as Iida unsuspectedly launched towards Midoriya with a kick to the face which almost managed to crack his neck, with Izuku being launched to the wall. Iida tried another attack, but he was blocked by Todoroki, who said, "Stand down, Iida. We can't just attack him even if he is the traitor, which is high unlikely after everything he done to all of us." Some people doubts were cleared as Yaoyorozu also stood up next to Todoroki along with Kirishima and Jiro. Yaoyorozu, although not much good with confrontation between her classmates, said, "I agree with Todoroki, he did a lot for us to just turn it down and become villain. After all, many of us owe our life to him, including you, Iida, Uraraka, Tsuyu, Bakugo and others." Kirishima then said, "Don't forget the Midori Bros saved the school festival from Gentle Criminal and Eri from Overhaul and Koda from Muscular." Izuku stood from the ground and said, "Can someone tell me what's going on?" Tokiyami then said, "You are accused of stealing UA files about students from Nezu office." Izuku was shocked and said, "Why would I need to steal them in the first place? After all, my hobbies are analyzing heroes and I never hid it." Some people had wide eye as they remembered his hero notebook, but Mineta then said, "Who cares? I bet it's not even that impressive, some doodles here and there." This managed to solidify some students who remained opposed to Izuku's innocence. The door of the class opened, revealing Aizawa, who had a sad look with Principal Nezu sitting on his shoulder, clearly happy. A skinny All Might walked behind them as Nezu then said, "Izuku Midoriya, you are hereby under arrest due to stealing files about students and selling it to the League of Villains." As he projected a tape of Izuku in his hero costume stealing the files before jumping into Kurogiri Warp Gate, Izuku was honestly shocked and said, "But that's not even me. I was training the whole night to control my quirk, and even after that I was extremely tired to even move and slept." All Might cut Nezu and said, "Don't make excuses, young man. Admit that you stole those files, that if there is an ounce of heroism in you, which is high unlikely. I can't believe I ounce saw potential in you." Izuku was shocked. The man he considered as a father figure believed in him being the traitor and said, "Not you too, All Might. I didn't spend this whole year destroying my body for everyone just so I can be framed and thrown away." But he was soon tackled to the ground with police officers placing quirk handcuffs and said, "You are under arrest for stealing UA files and selling it to the League of Villains. I am sure you know your rights." Izuku nodded sadly, but Nezu said he don't need those rights, he is caught red-handed. Aizawa was shocked and said, "Principal, that is too far. At least give him parole, he could be innocent for all we know." But his plead fell into deaf ear as Principal Nezu jumped from Aizawa's shoulder and said, "Adieu Izuku Midoriya, may our path never cross again." Izuku was then brought to his feet with the police officer saying, "Say your last words and choose wisely." Izuku then took a deep breath, looking at everyone that didn't believe in him, and said, "So is that how I am being rewarded for everything I've done for each one of you? Uraraka, I saved you from the zero-pointer when you were about to be squashed by it. Iida, I saved you from being killed by the hero killer. Mineta and Sue, I saved both of you in the USJ. Bakugo, I saved you at the sludge incident and got you out with the help of other from the battlefield so All Might could fight AFO freely. All Might, I saved you from getting killed at the USJ when you reached your limit. I could go more and more about each thing I did for everyone in this room. Is that the justice you people talk about? You even stripped me of my rights to prove my innocence, but I know one day I will be proven innocent, and when I come back don't expect forgiveness because you will receive none." The door was opened to reveal Class 1B standing. All had worried look with Monoma shouting, "What the hell? Remove those cuffs, you damn bastard." Everyone was surprised at the sudden outburst of Monoma and the fact that he is protecting a Class 1A scum. Zero then said, "Wait. Don't you hate our class?" Monoma said, "Yes. I hate your class with passion. The only exception is Midoriya because unlike you all he doesn't look down on us and he helped us through a lot." Itsuka then said, "A simple videotape won't be enough evidence to claim him as the UA traitor. It could be a transformation quirk for all we know." Setsuna crying then said, "Greenie did a lot for us to just throw it away. I can't believe you people that you would betray your own after all the sacrifices he done for all of you." All Might then said, "Vlad, control your students." Vlad then looked at his student then to All Might and shrugged. "Even I have to agree with them. Besides, Principal Nezu took it too far by stripping him from his right." All Might then said, "Officers, take him away." Izuku was dragged out of the class with 1B and some 1A trying to protest, but it was to no avail. All Might was walking behind them and said, "Leave him here. I would like to have one last talk to my former student." The police officers shrugged as they left far away with All Might picking a strand of hair and said, "I am taking back OFA. You should know very well why." Izuku said, "I can't believe that my own mentor chose a videotape over me. You didn't even have your friend Tsukachi confirm the accusation." All Might said, "I believe Tsukachi doesn't need to waste his time on a disappointment." Izuku then said, "Disappointment, huh? Well, just like I told those fake friends before, once I am proven innocent we will see who is a disappointment, but don't come begging me for forgiveness also. No, I will save this for later once I am proven innocent." All Might, although wanted to know the last part, he shrugged it off before signaling the police officer to come take Izuku to the chopper. Sitting on the chopper, he found himself flying above his hometown Mustafa as he had his elbow resting on the window. One of the police officers said, "Kid, I am sorry for what happened back then. I found it very ridiculous how they just threw you away like that with only one evidence." With the other saying, "But to strip you of parole is downright cruel. Even the most dangerous villain get one." Izuku said, "Don't worry about it. After all, Aizawa-sensei once said, this world is full of unfairness and we are supposed to combat them." The first officer then said, "You are quite wise for your age, kid. That is a good teacher." Izuku nodded with a small smile, but it was quickly replaced with an emotionless face, which really saddened on seeing such face in kids his age. Izuku only thought was justice has lost its meaning in this society. It's up to me to fix it. Izuku Pav. It has been a few hours ever since I was framed of being the UA traitor and sent to Tartarus. With no parole since they were so confident in their proof, which was just a stupid tape with me entering. Using my hero costume like who the idiot would wear their hero costume while infiltrating his own school. That designed it themselves, not to mention they didn't take into account that it might be someone with a transformation quirk, and I am sure as hell no one league member with that kind of ability, and she used it multiple times, once in the license exam and once in the raid of the Hasaikai, but they just forgot that she existed and they just chose to throw their most loyal person who sacrificed his body multiple times to save them and almost lost the use of his arm. It's kind of funny that 1B, the class that was seen as inferior of class 1A, can see through the lie. Even Monoma, for God's sake, knew that this was not me, and we don't know each other that much besides the time that I helped them with their quirk. What hurt the most in all of this is Uraraka and Iida, since those two are the ones I am close to than anybody. Even Bakugo just remained silent because he didn't know whose side to choose, and Bakugo hate me with passion but was toned down after OFA was revealed to him and that hatred turned to rivalry. But even if he believes about me being the UA traitor, I will probably forgive him, since so far he was the only one who didn't attack me first, despite being, Bakugo. Which is rash. Arrogant, you know the gist. Now I am being escorted to the worst prison of all time, Tartarus. I will probably meet most of the people that I arrested, and maybe even AFO if Nezu felt like being a dick and put me underground. I then walked to the front as two guards patted me for any weapons and took my wallet, phone, keys, ECT, and placed it on a shelf on its own. The guard that patted me gave me the clothes and said, "Change here." I was creeped out but complied, since I knew changing in a room is not accepted here, so I removed my clothes, leaving me in my boxers. Luckily they didn't ask me to remove it as well, so I put on my orange jumpsuit and orange cape before they led me to a room where there is a cameraman, which I assumed is to take a mugshot. My name in the mugshot was Shimura Midoriya Izuku. Kind of funny, isn't it, that the grandson of the 7th user is being sent to the worst prison of all because of the stupid 8th who failed to mentor him properly or even believe in him. I wanted to reveal it to him back then, but where is the fun in that? After all, once I am proven innocent and my full name is revealed, I want to see his face as he realized that he not only betrayed his prodigy but also sent his master grandson to the worst prison. Fun fact, due to OFA evolving, I was able to achieve the point of singularity as I started communicating with the users and All Might regaining the quirk. I believe that he will receive a beating the likes he never seen from the users if he ever slept, although sleeping won't be an option since they will pull him otherwise. After having taken my mugshot, I was given to two other guards to escort me to my cell. Apparently they were told by the two police officers about what happened and they decided to help me out, which I was grateful about, but rather not show it since anybody who has shown favoritism can have higher bounty in their head. Seeing my cell, it was just what you see in a typical movie, a pitch black room with small mattress on the floor which was ripped like someone has been practicing how to murder someone with a knife. A small toilet and a wooden table not suited for reading or writing since they're a broken piece of it. Honestly, they need to change it, since if I want to murder them right now I would had one of those broken wood and stabbed the guy with it. I then got inside and was given the regulation, which varied from not starting or causing fight with other inmates. Listen to the guards. Go to the cell in certain curfew. Go to the cafeteria at a certain hour. Go outside too. The court at certain hour ECT. Lucky me if there is one thing nerding out brought me is that I know how prison work. If you want to survive, you need to either prove yourself to other or join a well-known gang which will give you protection. And it's also worth mentioning that those are small-time thugs who were heavy relying on their quirks, so they didn't have any experience in hand-to-hand combat. As for me, I learned quirkless fighting, so handling them won't be much of a problem for me. It's not ego or overconfidence. I fought people like them before, and thanks to Kendo teaching me martial arts as a gift for everything I've done for their class 1, became extremely proficient in karate, judo, taekwondo. It has been 2 hours that I've been lying on the mattress, bored out of my mind, as usually in this time I'd either be training or looking at the hero news, so I just started doing standard push-ups, sit-ups just to get the blood pumping, since those mattresses are rigid and not the soft one. A guard then came with a stick in his hand, hitting the bar of the cell, and said, "Inmate, head to the cafeteria, now move it." Heading towards the cafeteria, I could see inmate divided into groups, which proved my theory of gang groups. I stood in a line where we were given food that looked like it has been there for a month. Honestly, it was disgusting, but my face was devoid of emotion and I took it. That's not the first time I suffered at the hand of this society. Looking for a table, I found one in a corner where I sat in and decided to eat, not caring about the looks I received, because what are the chances of you to see a kid who is almost 17 years old in the most dangerous prison? But fate decided to be a bitch, as a tall buff guy followed by his cronies kind of remind me back in the days when I was 4 and Bakugo was followed by his group of extras. I looked up into the eye of the seemingly boss of the wing, who had a wicked smile, clearly enjoying the fact that he has a new prey to torment. But I am not your average prey who is backed into a corner and beaten or eaten. No, I am a prey who bites, and when it does it's going to hurt. The boss said, look at here, a child. Well, no matter, we came here to set some rules. My name is not worth mentioning to a trash like you, but all you need to know, if I say jump then you jump. If I tell you to do something you will not argue with me. Failure will lead to get beaten and potentially killed, and nobody here cares if nobody just died. I looked unfazed by the threat and raised an eyebrow, as I was not impressed by his methods of intimidating me. That angered the boss, as his cronies backed away in fear. As I said, you said it yourself, the guard doesn't cares for anyone here. That means that you are a nobody just like me. So how about you threaten someone else who will be fazed by that pathetic attempt? Like, seriously, get creative. This threat had gotten pretty old. Everyone by now was shocked. Nobody had ever talked back to the boss, with the boss having a tick mark saying, you have guts, I give you that, but there are times when gut can lead you to your death. As he brought a knife, attempting to stab me in the gut, but I dodged it and took the arm with the weapon, managing to pull the guy to the ground and applied pressure on his wrist, making him drop the weapon. I then pushed it away using my leg and said, so hot stuff. You think you can intimidate me with a knife? Sadly for you, I've been trained to fight using with or without my quirk, while you people relied on your quirk most of you life, and now you are rendered useless. You think you can beat me with just a basic knife? Thirst, think again. I don't have any problem putting scum like you in their place, but I am here temporarily and will be out as soon as my innocence is proven. So how about you go somewhere else and bother someone else? Do I make myself clear? He didn't respond as he tried to resist my grip, but he is an idiot, and I applied pressure to the point his bones almost broke as he screamed, fuck. I understand now, let go of my arm. I then dropped him as his cronies ran towards him, pulling him away at lightning speed. Everyone looked at me with fear, admiration, awe, surprise. Well, what do you expect? It's not every day you get to see a teen put down someone double his size and almost broke his arm. Of course, two guards appeared and went towards me and said, although we saw what happened and we know he in the wrong, but we have to follow the protocol and bring you back to your cell. Izuku sighed as he said, fine, I understand. The guard said, thank you for complying with the orders, kid. Whenever I walked near someone they would run away. I give a small smirk as I enjoyed having them fear me. I hope this will be enjoyable and relaxing. In another table we see a group of people sitting with a guy with long hair smirking and said, I guess we found someone worthy to train in the Rokushiki. A woman with glasses said, indeed Lucci, he seemed to have a lot of potential and have sense of justice. The now named Lucci raised his head and said, let's see what he will do tomorrow. No one paused. After Izuku arrest for being the UA traitor, one would expect that UA will go back as it was before, like nothing ever happened. Well, you are wrong. As you see, Izuku has influenced a lot of people in his stay at school, and he was considered to be the favorite as he helped everyone whether they were feeling down or helped them in their usage of quirk. All in all, Izuku has impacted a lot of people in his life, and when they heard that he was sent to Tartarus with no parole, caused a riot between the students as nearly everyone has lost respect for Principal Nezu. The information was leaked, including Izuku's achievement over the years, and the public could also agree as to why UA allowed a promising student to the worst prison with a lack of evidence. Especially the Human Rights Organization has been demanding to know the reason why Izuku was stripped of his right to have a parole. The parents of the student took their children from UA and placed them other school like Shiketsu, Ketsubutsu and other top hero school because they were afraid that UA will do the same thing they did with one of their top student. As for those who remained at UA, well, they were at war with each other, as some side think it's not worth the trouble to make a big fuss over a traitor, while the other said that Izuku is innocent. Now we could see outside the UA gate horde of reporters and public who were shouting at the school. It was the day where the principal decided to give a week of break for the student until they reach some sort of plan to calm the public riot. In a meeting room, we could see all the staff seated on the table as the principal had his back towards the staff. Aizawa, although annoyed by the reporters, he couldn't help a smirk as he knew that this were the consequences. Principal Nezu turned around, clearly distressed. Principal Nezu, we need to find a way to calm the public riot. Parents have been taking their children away from UA and placing them in other hero school, and our budget that we receive from the government is cut. Aizawa, this is the consequences, Nezu, when you decided to throw Izuku in Tartarus with just one evidence and not even giving him a chance of parole, then the parents have right to fear their children's safety. All Might. But he is a traitor. I don't see why they have to start a riot. Snipe. With all due respect, All Might, don't you know that parole is the basic of human right? Even the most dangerous criminal out there were given parole, but you decided to throw him over stolen student quirk file. Nezu. Snipe. Brute strength can't always win against brains. What Izuku did was give them information on our student which could put them in danger to any attack. Midnight scoffs. Danger? The students have been in danger ever since day one. We have the USJ, Hosu City, summer camp and many more, not to mention the sports festival was advertising out students' quirk. Aizawa. I agree with Kayama here. Our student were put in the danger the moment they joined this school, and it all because of All Might became a teacher here. Besides, as aspiring heroes they have to find a way around the unfairness of the world. Besides, those quirk files were outdated and haven't been updated regularly, so it only mentioned what the quirk name and basic knowledge about it, but no information about ultimate moves or such. Nezu. Even so, they are still first years entering their second year at UA. It's because of the love that we aren't able to give them the training they deserve. We are lucky that they passed the licensing exam. Aizawa. Don't forget that they passed thanks to Izuku planning the so-called traitor you speak of. Can you just give him parole and investigate more about it instead of jumping to conclusion based on a video that could be wrong? Cementos. I do have to agree with Aizawa in this matter. I hardly believe that Midoriya would just give up everything just to steal files for the love. Besides, you heard what most students said about him. He helped a lot of people on how to use their quirk. Nezu sigh. Fine, I will look into it more. The meeting has concluded with Nezu agreeing to look more into Izuku case, although Aizawa started his own search since he knew that Nezu will not take it seriously as he believes that Izuku is the traitor. Somewhere in Tartarus, we could see the prisoner watching the news and were looking at Izuku in disbelief as he laughed so hard at the news seeing UA being destroyed by the reporters, human rights organization, parents. Izuku. Serve them right, believing me to be the traitor over a tape. Prisoner 1. Wow, you did quite a lot as a hero. Izuku. I am a strong believer of justice and it pleases me greatly to see that justice have been served. I look forwards to seeing them crawl towards me asking for forgiveness when they realize they betrayed their top student. At another table far away from Izuku. Kaku. He is the one. Rob. He is indeed. I look forwards to seeing what the kid have to offer. Blueno gestured a guard to come towards him who rushed to them at extreme speed. Guard. Yes, Rob, sir. Rob. You see that kid Izuku Midoriya? I want you to place him in our cell. Guard. Why, sir? Are you going to hurt him? Rob chuckled. Not at all. I took a liking to the kid. He is a strong believer of justice and I just simply want to nurture it. The guard shake in fear as he realized that CP9 will recruit the kid that managed to make the prison stay quiet and organized. Even the previous boss of the wing have become reserved, not wanting to get on Midoriya's bad side. Although the guards are thankful for the kid since he made their job easier, it only made them also afraid and wary since to manage to make them behave is a great feat. Guard. Of course, Rob, sir, I will tell the warden no about your request. The guard then ran away towards the warden as he hoped that the kid won't be more terrifying than he already is, but he know for a fact that this will be a nightmare as they are already afraid of CP9 because their group of people specialize in assassinations and they came here for a stupid reason, which is to find good candidates to train in Rokushiki, since most of them are getting old in their 30s and 40s and they will probably need to spread their influence in Japan before they return to their base. Rob smirked. I am looking forwards for our meeting Izuku Midoriya. Khalifa with a sly smirk. I look forward to embarrassing the kid to death with my charm. The other member of CP9 sigh as they prayed for the kid's safety as he have a crazy woman after him. At CP9 cell. Well, it more like a mansion. We see Izuku being escorted by a guard to his cell, but this time was different. They were going a different route than they should go. Izuku. Hey, isn't this the wrong place? Guard. You will be placed in a new cell with 7 other people. Izuku. Oh great. My cell was already small, now I will have to share. Guard. Actually it's not your regular prison cell. Izuku looked at the guard weirdly and thought, what is regular about the most dangerous prison in Japan, as he found a huge black door. Izuku thought. Great, now they will probably take me to level 2, maybe it won't be bad since Stain could be chilling there. The guard opened the dark door as Izuku was shocked. The hallways changed from colorless and dirty walls to blue walls that had painting and silver statues. Izuku. Seriously, is that the worst prison of all time? It looks like a penthouse. Guard. Well, because it's a penthouse. Izuku looked at the guard with a look of, are you serious, and contemplated at this sudden development. Izuku asked. Did the ONU do this? Guard. No, The person inside wanted you to be moved here. He was quite interested in you. He said something about you having potential, but listen kid, you might be strong but you don't stand a chance against him since they have developed a technique that allows them to fight on par with people like All Might without a quirk. Izuku was intrigued. A technique that allows one person to fight on par with those with quirk. It was quite exciting and he was intrigued to know the reason he was chosen by the mystery. Izuku. Noted. The guard then knocked on the door as it was opened by Kaku, who gestured Izuku to come inside. Kaku. Good job, now you are dismissed. Guard. Yes sir. The guard left, making Izuku quite surprised that a guard is taking order from a bunch of prisoners, but he shrugged and entered the penthouse. It was quite lavish for a bunch of criminals, but hey, better than living in a dirty cell. Sitting on the sofa was 6 others who Izuku recognized to be in the cafeteria, and looking at the kitchen he was quite surprised that they chose to eat in the cafeteria rather than here, but I guess it will all be explained. Rob Lucci. Hello Izuku Midoriya, or should I call you as Izuku Shimura? It's quite nice to meet you in person. Izuku. I recognize you all from the cafeteria. You are rather a quiet group. They all look impressed since their presence are always not noticed and they remain undetected. Jabra. Impressive kid, not many are observant, but I guess from the reports you always had a keen eye. Izuku. It's not really difficult. I could feel that you have been watching me for a while now. I don't know how, but I always had it. Rob Lucci smirk. Oh, observation hockey, and at such a young age it seems the Rokushiki will be easy for you. Izuku was confused at what observation hockey is or what is Rokushiki. Bluno. My name is Bluno, and don't worry about that Rokushiki or observation hockey since all will be explained tomorrow, but first we need to show you around your new cell. Khalifa. Let me show him around please. Rob Lucci. Do whatever you want Khalifa. Kaku. Just don't do anything crazy like you always do. Khalifa. I won't. She then grabbed Izuku into a hug to her breast, making Izuku extremely embarrassed. That made Khalifa smirk in victory. Khalifa. See, he likes me. She then dragged a flustered Izuku to his new room as everyone looked amused at Khalifa antic and thought. Global thought. Poor kid. With Izuku. Khalifa asked. How did you like my breast? You can have more of those. Izuku almost had a nosebleed. The problem is that she had fishnet underneath her black jacket and had to restrain himself from looking towards the smirking Khalifa. But she had other plans as she brought him once more to her breast as she smothered him and Izuku broke into a nosebleed. Khalifa. How cute. Nothing beats my sexiness. She then proceeded to drag Izuku, who was trying to regain his sanity, until they reached a nice-looking door. Opening it revealed Izuku's room, which was extremely nice. It had a window which showed the ocean. It had a king-size bed, a small desk near the bed which surprisingly had his phone and wallet, keys, and a chair near the window with a coffee table and a TV. Izuku. Well, that's nice, better than my previous cell, thank you. Khalifa smiled. It's okay. That the least we can do to you now. I will be taking my leave so you can get used to your new life, but don't think you will get away from my love. Izuku smiled, although was slightly embarrassed with having to be smothered by her, which is a dream of every man since despite her being 31 she was quite the looker. Izuku. Ah. Thank you, I look forward to it. Khalifa smirked before she left outside, closing the door behind her as he sighed in relief before he opened the closet to find a new suit which was the same as Lucci but had green tie and had symbol on the back of it which was the world government. Izuku then inspected for other clothes to find something else, and he did find a rather nice clothes which was all black except for his pants which was green. I guess they took into account his hair and eye color. No one pav. Izuku bedroom. Izuku could be seen waking up in a soft bed. It really felt nice rather than sleeping in a rigid bed which was extremely uncomfortable. Raising his head from the pillow he was met by Khalifa breast. She of course smirked once more. As for Izuku, he was flustered. Khalifa. Rise and sign. Did you like the way you woke up? Izuku. Although it's every man's dream to be met with a breast of a beautiful woman, but don't you get tired of this? Khalifa smirk. Beautiful. How sweet of you. Khalifa then brought him to her breast as she smothered him more, but this time he was less flustered as he started to get used to it. Seeing that he was less flustered, was disappointed but motivated to make him flustered until he is released from Tartarus. Khalifa. Let's go. Lucci along with the other are waiting for you. Izuku asked. Should I wear the suit? Khalifa ponder. No, no need for now at least. Izuku nodded as he walked to the bathroom to wash his face and brush his teeth before he walked outside his room and to the living room, meeting the whole CP9 wearing their yesterday clothes as he sweat drop. Kaku. Hello Shimura, I hope yesterday's sleep was much better than your regular cell. Izuku. Yes, thank you for the kind gesture. I hope my clothes doesn't bother any of you considering that you people are the suit type of people. Lucci. No, that is quite alright. They then gestured to a seat where I sat down and Khalifa placed a tea, which I thanked her. Izuku, ask, first thing I would like to know your names since we will be together for quite some time. Bluno. My name is Bluno. Jabra. My name is Jabra. Kaku. My name is Kaku. Kumadori. My name is Kumadori. Fukuru. My name is Fukuru Chapapapa. Khalifa. My name is Khalifa Cutie. Lucci. I am the leader of CP9 Rob Lucci. Izuku, nod his head. Nice to meet all of you. I am sure you know about me more than even UA itself, so you mentioned yesterday about Rokushiki and I am curious about that. I did hear from the guard that brought me here that you are a group that specialize in a martial arts that makes you rival that of Quirk. Lucci. That is correct Shimura. First thing you need to know who we are before we get to what we will be training you. Izuku nodded his head as he sat properly, his back straight, which made them quite pleased that he is a listener. Lucci. Now then, as I mentioned in my introduction, our group is called CP9, or properly known as Cypher Pole 9, and we are a group of assassins. Izuku, although surprised, his expression turned to neutral as he wasn't fazed by the declaration, which surprised everyone and were pleased that he didn't flip out. Jabra. I am quite surprised that you aren't fazed with the declaration, kid. Izuku. Well, I don't think a group of assassins will be given such a luxury and treated as superiors in the most dangerous prison in Japan. Beside, in my wardrobe I saw a suit tailored to my size and it had the world government logo, and I already had basic information about them, including that they have assassination organization which serve to get rid of any threat to them. The group looked at each other and had a smile while Lucci had a smirk. They were pleased with this and knew that this was going to be easier than they give credit for. Lucci. Now then, back to the story. We have been getting old and we wanted to prepare a next generation of our group who can use Rokushiki to the highest degree. First thing you need to know is that there is more than one Cypher Pole group. There is our group who specialize in assassination. There is the Straw Hat that specialize in sailing in sea and defeating pirates or drug smugglers or any villain and delivering them to the world government, whether alive or dead. There is those who specialize in infiltration, information gathering, and many more. We have authority to kill anyone and won't be punished for it unless we abuse our authority, which lead us to either prison or execution depending on the crime you committed. Izuku. I see that is quite rare information to hear. It's not even found on the internet. Kaku. It's because this is government secret information. Izuku. Ask. Then, as for my question, I want to know why you chose me specifically aside from the fact that I have potential in hockey? Lucci. Smirk. Glad you asked. You see, we have been observing you for quite some time now and we knew that you were accused for stealing UA files and had your rights of parole stripped from you, but what drawn us to you is your sense of justice. We have heard of your achievements so far and UA have let down such a potential hero and we wanted to help you. We know very well about OFA and AFO, its history and everything about it, and we wanted to train you in our martial arts. So what do you say? Izuku, unfazed. Well, that's no surprise considering that the world government are a mystery, not to mention you said there's steal and infiltration group, so basically the world government have eyes everywhere, not to mention All Might revealed his secret to me in the middle of the street. As for the offer, I would gladly accept. I did make a promise to get justice to those who are oppressed by this damn society. The group smirk as they liked Izuku's dedication and how smart he is, which will make the training quite easy and faster than normal. Lucci. Now then, we will first start with training your body to superhuman level. You are already well built, but be warned your physical training will be difficult than cleaning that beach. So do you think you are ready? Izuku. Well, I never expected it to be easy, so I'd say bring it on. Lucci. After we are done with your physical training, we will start training you in Rokushiki to the point where you can bend your body unnaturally, make your body hard as iron, make your fist harder than iron, create slash just from a kick, extremely fast to the point you can teleport, jumping in air which would look like you are flying, and many more. Hearing all of this excited Izuku as he was ready for the challenge that will be given for him. First week. Izuku training this week was quite difficult. No, it was hell. The first few days he had to do 1,000 punches, 1,000 kicks, 1,000 push-ups, 1000 sit-ups, 1000 squats. Izuku had to of course wake up extremely early at 5 a.m. in the morning and work until 3 p.m. He would be by the end of the day on the ground panting, his muscle was sore, threatening to tear apart. He would of course eat a lot before he took a shower and got to sleep. This has went on for a week before he got used to it, as his muscles kept healing and got stronger each passing day. The group were quite impressed with his dedication, as no one had the guts to go through that harsh training, which would even make Gran Torino look like a saint. Izuku also this week got used to the teasing of Khalifa and was able to talk with the rest of the group, including the quiet ones, and they were pretty good people. They're just cold from the outside, since similar to him they have trust issues. Some were married to one or multiple ones and some had children. Second week. Izuku training took another turn as he was given weights to wear, which was 1 ton in each arm and leg, as he attempted the same punches as before, making it much harder than it was before. The push-ups and sit-ups were quite draining, as he also started doing laps around Tartarus itself with the weights on and had almost fainted in multiple occasions. His dedication to succeed allowed him to continue to the point that he once fainted, but his legs didn't stop moving. They had to of course knock him out so he doesn't overwork himself, but they were impressed. Khalifa have took a liking to Izuku, and luckily for her, Izuku was already over the legal age in Japan, so she could do whatever she want, even extreme things, as she once entered on Izuku taking shower butt naked and sat with him. Izuku as a normal man had a nosebleed as she would sway her hips. He tried multiple times leaving, but she would make him stay and would even clean his back with her breast. The other knew about Khalifa antics and supported them, as they knew Khalifa had took a liking to Izuku, as she wouldn't go as far as getting in the shower with anyone else, and knew they will have to work on his self-confidence and problem with girls, as there is some issues, and knew about his history with Bakugo, so they left this task to Khalifa. Third week. Izuku have became quite powerful as he acquired superhuman level of strength. He was able to lift weights he could lift while using OFA in the past. That's when the physical training eased down and they started to train him in Rokushiki. This week was dedicated to get Izuku into a reasonable level or Rokushiki until he could learn their variation or create his own variation by mixing both techniques together. Jeppo was easily learned as he realized the concept quickly, not to mention he once done it in his fight against Overhaul unconsciously and started to hone it until he was able to stay in air for a long period. Tekai was easily learned as he have training his body to superhuman strength, so hardening his muscles to the point of iron was quite easy, although strong punches from cannons could hurt him or anything stronger than iron. Shigen was easily learned since he broke his fingers a lot while using OFA, so it was already strong, but he required a lot of precision, which he easily learned thanks to his work study with Night Eye and his Air Force, so he only requires speed, which would be fixed during the 4th week. Rankyaku was learned easily since those previous 2 weeks had helped make his leg into superhuman level, not to mention when he had OFA he trained his leg for his own fighting style that he created, shoot style. That's why he was able to get it quickly by the end of the day. Soru was also learned quickly as he once used it against Overhaul when he went into 100% OFA. Izuku had to kick the ground 10 times in a blink of an eye in order to occur, which was easy as his Rankyaku and his 2 previous week of hell training made it easier to learn it. Kami was learned as well as he also trained his flexibility, allowing him to dodge attack easily while bending his body unnaturally that you would think he doesn't have a bone and that he looks like a paper. The last technique was promised that he will learn when he is able to learn the variation and be at a good reasonable level, as Rokuogen is energy draining even for Lucci as it is a double-edged sword. 4th week. Izuku learned their fighting style and attempted to use the Rokushiki and found that it is much better and efficient than his previous fighting style, as it was only suited for his quirk, which he doesn't have anymore. Izuku also learned carpentry and tactics plans as they wanted him to be more smarter than Nezu himself and be smart in his use of Rokushiki, as they don't want him to be reckless like he was before. Izuku dedicated this week to honing his Rokushiki to a level where his techniques doesn't drain him of his energy right away. Izuku also got used to having Khalifa with him in the bath and became bold with her as his confidence rose higher. This of course made Khalifa happy as she found him extremely hot when he is bold towards her and would run her hands sometimes near his dick, and she was honestly aroused by the sheer size and knew that this wasn't an innocent kid. The other group would laugh when they see the blushing Khalifa, as they liked how the role reversed with Izuku being the one who teased her. Often even Lucci was entertained, but Khalifa would also step her game. 5th to 6th week. He started to learn the variation of Rokushiki as it was quite difficult at the beginning but got used to it quickly. For Jeppo he learned Cho Sokaten, Tekai Dama, or Super Cartwheel Iron Ball. It's a technique he learned from Fukuru as he combines his Tekai Dama, spinning himself with Soru while using Tekai movements with Jeppo to use it in midair. The second technique he leaned is Kamasora, as it's a technique he learned from Lucci, which is a combination of Jeppo and Soru, where Izuku uses Soru in a zigzag motion in midair, allowing extremely fast movements in 3 dimensions. As for Tekai, he learned his first technique from Lucci, which was called Tekai Utsugi, or Iron Mass, or Iron Body Empty Tree. This form of Tekai is used entirely as a counter instead, where the purpose is not to absorb damage from the attack, but to transfer the shock of the attack back to the attacker, which can lead to broken bones in a normal human body. Izuku kept training in each variation of each Rokushiki as he was doing quite well, but he haven't been taught most of their technique as most went well with their quirk. By the end, Izuku's hair have grown and became much cool as he is able to control his emotion in every situation and is honing his skill, waiting for his innocence to be proven or he will take the matter in his hand. Izuku is also given approval to train others he deemed worthy of Rokushiki and create his own group if he ever wanted. No one Pav. It has been a few months ever since Izuku started his training with CP9. He have trained a lot to hone his skills and was improving quite a lot, impressing everyone as Lucci took it upon himself to teach him the final phase of the Rokushiki, and that is a technique called Rokuogen. It's a double-edged sword and it's quite exhausting for the user as it creates shockwave. League base. We could see Shigaraki sitting in a dark base which was rather cleaned and accustomed to look like their old bar of their old hideout. Shigaraki have matured quite a lot ever since AFO has been defeated by All Might and put in Tartarus. He hated 2 people the most, and that is All Might and Izuku Midoriya. Both of them were like each other more than one. He knew the symbol of peace is no more, but as long as Midoriya is out there his plans is doomed to fail, as he knew that the kid would always find a way against all odds. He didn't care what method to use to get rid of him, and it presented itself through Himiko Toga, who managed to graze Midoriya in the license exam and took some of his blood, which was enough to accuse him of working with the League. He just hoped that his plans would work and they would betray him. Shigaraki knows that Midoriya is his cousin, and that made his plans far more better as he knew how his master AFO used his heritage to put down All Might, although those stupid civilians were cheering him on, so he had to live up to the hype to the very end, and luckily they betrayed him quickly. Despite how much he sacrificed his life for them, he kind of felt bad for him. After all, he is still his cousin whether he like him or not. Now we could see Shigaraki without his hand on his face. He wore a leather jacket on top of a suit similar to the one his master wore. He had gloves that covered 3 of his fingers as to not disintegrate anything in his path. He knew full well that he never could rival AFO, but he was working, and just like in what his master said in Camino, he is spreading his wings and leaving the nest. He was interrupted by his train of thought. Dabi, smirk. Never thought I'd see you in a suit and put some chapstick. Shigaraki. Look at him in disbelief. Seriously, chapstick, I hate those products. Toga, licking her lips. Oh Shiggy, you look amazing, but you would be more amazing if you bled. Toga was grabbed by Spinner, who dragged her away as they didn't want her to go psycho on them. Twice. Double personality. You look good, you suck. Shigaraki, annoyed. Is the preparation ready already? Unknown person, smirk. Don't worry Shigaraki, I am sure you will take the Hero Society to the mud after this recording. We could see right in front of Shigaraki a camera with a man typing a few things on the computer. The guy was one of AFO loyal henchmen, as he is able to hack anything, and then the guy pressed a button before he smirked. Unknown person. It's ready. It's your time to shine, young lord. Set the Hero Society ablaze for AFO. Shigaraki, smirk. Good job. The rest of the league stood behind the camera, leaving only Shigaraki as he is their leader and he represent them. They will of course come when they are called, as they will demonstrate how fucked up the society is. At UA. We could see 1A watching the TV like usual as a group, although some of them stayed far, and that are the people that believed in Izuku innocence. 1B have stopped coming to their dorm as they didn't feel like associating themselves with backstabbers. Mina, sigh. I really miss Setsuna. Toru, depressed, agreed. Iida, handshop. Although it's sad that our neighboring class is ignoring us, but I am sure they will come around once things settle about that scoundrel. Bakugo growl at the last comment as he hated Izuku being called scoundrel and insulted. He already beaten both Kaminari and Mineta because they insulted him and called his mother a whore, which didn't sit well with him. Katsuki then looked towards his wrist, which had quirk-canceling wristband, because they didn't want Katsuki killing anyone. They didn't want to expel him either because they have lost a lot of students and the school have took a massive hit, although UA isn't ready for the storm that is the League of Villain. The TV started to show static as Uraraka had grabbed the remote trying to change another channel, but it gave the same result not long after the screen replaced to show a dark room, as some people were afraid as they felt like there will be a jump scare. The light lit up, which hit the person's face, revealing the one person everyone hated the most, the one who ruined their life and to some Izuku life. Everyone. Shigaraki. Back with the League. We see the entire League smirking as the unknown person started counting down until it hit 0 with him getting a thumbs up to start. He then knelt to the side, having his left arm supported by the couch. Shigaraki. Hello Japan. Many of you may know me already as Shigaraki Tamura, the leader of the League of Villains. We have been remaining in hiding for so long after we took a massive hit a year ago when the former symbol of peace all might put my master in prison, but that's not enough to take us down in our hatred for this society that treated us as a waste of space. I have come here to discuss a matter that have been debated for quite some time, and that is the UA traitor. Many of you know that Izuku Midoriya is the traitor, but it's wrong, as this was an elaborate plan made to get rid of the brat, as he caused us a lot of trouble. That's why Himiko Toga came into plan. Himiko walked towards the front of the camera trying to act cute as she giggled before she brought a vial that had a sticker that said, "Izuku Yummy Blood," before she drank it, and she transformed into Izuku, who was wearing his hero costume. Shigaraki. Smirk. Yes. That is correct, people of Japan. Izuku Midoriya is innocent. We had Himiko steal files while disguised as Midoriya, all for one purpose: to prove that the heroes can't even trust their own. Midoriya is someone who sacrificed his life for all of them, and most of them would have been dead by now. So is that the heroes you want to entrust your life to, people of Japan. Back at UA. After Shigaraki appeared in the TV, we could see all staff rushing inside the dorms to make sure their students are safe. Class 1B were following, but they were annoyed as they were forced to come by Vlad King. Katsuki. That damn handjob freak, what is he planning to do now? Aizawa. I have a bad feelings about this. Shigaraki in the video started introducing himself before he came to the topic of the traitor, and everyone tense as some knew by now what was going to happen, and that will be catastrophic when he proved that Izuku is innocent and called Himiko. Everyone was wide-eyed that they never thought of Toga, who obviously had a transformation quirk. He then explained that the heroes can't trust their own, which they admit was true. Nezu. This isn't looking good for any of us right now. Katsuki. Shouted. See, you bastards, he was innocent all along, but you just throwed the book at him and returned to your lives as if nothing happened. This is the consequences. Get ready to be chastised by everyone for abandonning our own. Aizawa. This is becoming worst for all of us. You should have give him parole, Nezu. Now all of us that believed in him will be caught in the crossfire because you were too adamant that he was the traitor. Gran Torino. Good job, All Might. You betrayed your own successor. Maybe if you had faith in him just like Nana did, this wouldn't have happened. You disappointment. All Might. Oh, no, what have I done? Back with the League. Shigaraki. Now then, let's get to the main event. All Might, I know you are watching this, and I am sure you know very well my real name, which is Tenko Shimura. What if I told you that Izuku Midoriya was none other than Izuku Shimura? How does it feel knowing you betrayed your master grandson and didn't have faith in him? Such a shame that the symbol of peace turned out like this. I wonder how she will feel when she see this. I bet she is rolling in her grave right now that you not only disappointed one of her grandchildren but two of them. We have a lot of things to expose the heroes, but we will leave it for later. We only came here to show that Izuku Midoriya was innocent. After all, I give you months to find if he is innocent or not, but none of you put effort into finding out. Now then, adios. The camera cut down as everyone has watched the broadcast and they were enraged at what happened, and they were preparing for a protest because they weren't going to take this lightly. Back at UA. Shigaraki continued talking as he now revealed Izuku's identity to the world. Those who were in UA, most who knew about Nana Shimura, paled as All Might fell on his knees as he have realized he sent away her grandson to the worst prison with not much proof, and not only that, he didn't have faith in young Midor. No young Shimura. Gran Torino. Shocked. This is worse than I thought. Good job, All Might. This is what happened when you don't use that brain of yours. Mina. Sir, who is Shimura? Bakugo. Shocked. She is All Might master. Her name is Nana Shimura, and handjob revealed that the nerd was her grandson. Everyone by now was shocked and understood why All Might was on his knees. Well, they would be the same if they realized they have harmed someone who is the son of someone important to you. All Might, tearing up. What have I done? I betrayed my master grandson, all for what? Just because of a videotape. I won't be able to look into her eyes anymore, knowing that I threw her grandson to the worst prison of all time. Is this what young Shimura wanted to say back then? Gran Torino. What do you mean? All Might explained his talk with Izuku before he was sent to Tartarus, and everyone sighed as they knew that Izuku was aware of his heritage. Aizawa. He wants to humiliate you. He knew that this outcome will happen and knew that his heritage will be revealed. He wants you to live with the regret that you not only betrayed him as a student but you betrayed your master. Nezu. Stressed. We need to get him out of Tartarus right now. We will be heading tomorrow given that it's getting dark outside. Everyone nodded as they all left to their respective dorms, but Class 1A was subjected to glares from Class 1B. Monoma. So 1A scum, how does it feel to know that S1B believed in someone from your class who we had not much contact with like you all? They had their head down except those who believed in Izuku innocence. Kendo. Iida, you said that we are blind to see the truth. I guess your glasses wasn't accurate after all. I don't need a videotape to tell that someone is a traitor or not. Setsuna. Especially someone who saved most of you from death itself. Yui. Shimura expected that you will have his back just like he did for all of you, but you ended up backstabbing him and insulted him. I won't blame him if he decided not to return to Ua. Uraraka. No, Deku-kun will return to us and will forgive us. Katsuki. Face it, round cheeks. You might think that the nerd is forgiving, but he have limit, especially when the people he saved and helped a lot of time just left him. He now knows that the relationship he had with all of you are fake because none of you had faith in him like this, because if you claim to be his best friend but can't even see through an imposter, then you just used him, and I know for what, you fucking gold digger. Some who didn't believe in Izuku gasped as they realized now that Uraraka has chose to hang out with Izuku because he had powerful quirk, and Iida because of his family name. They knew about her aspiration of becoming a hero for money for her parents' sake, but to go that far is wrong in many ways. They now glared at Uraraka, who shifted uncomfortably at the glares and knew how Izuku felt when he was glared at by everyone. Reiko. As expected from her, I always had the bad feel around her. Now I know she was just some slut who probably had spread her legs to other men. It's sad that Midoriya doesn't realize how much he is special to a lot of people, including me. Abara. Gasp. Such an unholy girl. Tetsu. I thought this class was full of manly people, but I guess I was wrong, except of course those who believe in Midoriya. Awase. Sigh. Let's no waste our time. It's almost past curfew. We have better things to do than to chastise Class 1A. Monoma. Agreed. 1B then left towards their dorm room, leaving Class 1A to sulk, knowing that every word spoken was the truth, as they have truly betrayed Midoriya. No, they betrayed Izuku Shimura. They just hoped that they will be forgiven, but that is too late as Izuku Shimura has other plans. No one pav. Izuku was seen sitting on the couch with Khalifa seated next to him, much closer to him, which might confuse other as to why she is close to being intimate with him. Well, because both of them at some point became a couple, and Khalifa has expressed that she is willing to share him with other girls. Izuku then grabbed a whiskey as he poured 2 cups for him and Khalifa and drank it. Khalifa, curiously, so what are you planning to do, Izuku, ponder. You will know my answer soon. Khalifa. You might be wondering what interesting conversation are they having? Well, Izuku was not someone living under rock. He is aware of what is going outside, as he clearly knows about what the league did yesterday and know full well that UA will be there any minutes to have him set free and bring him back to Ua to not only ask for forgiveness for sending an innocent to a prison, but also to fix their reputation, which irked him a lot, as he also aware that the media are bashing them even more harder than before, and with his relationship of being the grandson of the previous #1 hero Nana Shimura, this only ignited the anger of the people of Japan, as they had lack of trust towards Hero School, with the most weakest school closing and some agencies closed due to pressure, and that was only in 1.5 days. Izuku. I might hate my cousin, but he did weed out the fake heroes that corrupted our society. Khalifa nod. It also gave you the opportunity for you to meet us. Izuku nod before he got close to Khalifa, giving her a kiss to the lips as she reciprocated it. There was a slight knock on the huge door of their penthouse. Izuku. Come in. A guard opened the door as he saluted Izuku and Khalifa, as everyone came to recognize Izuku as one of the members of CP9 even if it's not official. Guard. You have visitors, sir. Shall I bring them here? Izuku ponder. Sure. Bring them here. The guard nod before he took off, closing the door behind him slowly. Khalifa give a smirk as she knew what he was thinking right now. Khalifa, smirk, I know what you are thinking. Izuku, smirk, well you aren't my girlfriend for nothing Khalifa. He then pecked her on the lips before Izuku got up leaving towards the kitchen bringing a lot of cups to pour some drinks for the guest. He might hate them but he was taught manners as most of the CP9 dealt with nobles, so he was taught how to use silverware and dinnerware, which he absorbed it all like a sponge. With Ua, Nezu was seen getting in the helicopter which will take him along with All Might, Aizawa and Midnight to Tartarus to free their student. They were seated with Nezu, All Might being tense as they will be meeting with Izuku and hoped that he still hold that forgiving heart. Aizawa had a blank look although there was a twinkle in his eyes showing how excited he is to finally meet his student. Midnight was also in the same situation as she missed the kid greatly and was disappointed in herself for not defending him. All Might upset, do you think young Shimura will forgive us? Nezu. Of course he will. Aizawa cut in, no, he won't forgive you people. Midnight sad, try to have a little faith Aizawa. Aizawa. That look in his eye that he gave us when he was escorted away was a look of betrayal. He have been with us for almost a year, sacrificed his life multiple times, but it was all thrown away with no parole or any chance to defend himself. Let's not forget our school situation is shit right now and all because of you Nezu and All Might. Nezu, look down, I will try to make amends. Aizawa. Suit yourself. Arriving to Tartarus they walked inside and were checked, but so far they have been glared at by most guards as they didn't hold back the disdain as they have met Izuku and knew he was a good kid in heart. We could see the warden despite what happened he held a neutral face as he was keeping it professional unlike the amateurs. Warden. So what does the principal of UA doing here? Nezu. We would like to release Izuku Shimura as much as possible and bring him back at UA. The warden was amused with Nezu's claim of bringing him back to UA but just did his duty as he signaled the guard near him to see Izuku if he is willing to have visitors. That of course confused the UA staff and principal as to why they are even taking a former prisoner opinion about who should visit him. After all, he is the principal of UA, but oh boy, he pissed the wrong people. Not 10 minutes later the guard came empty and whispered to the warden, which he nodded before two guards came out and signaled for Nezu and the others to follow him. Nezu asked, wait, isn't he supposed to come to us? After all, he was a prisoner just a few moments ago. Warden, chuckle. Just go already principal or you will miss the hour visit that he granted to you all. They reluctantly followed with the warden being close to them. They were confused as hell. Even Aizawa was not able to read the warden expression, although the guards were quite obvious and he knew something big is about to happen. Their walk was eventful as they were given glare by the prisoner who pretty much hated them. All Might. They sure do hate us, huh? Aizawa, annoyed. Obviously they hate us. We just pretty much send a 17-year-old kid to the worst prison of all time over a videotape. I told you both to give him a parole, but you opposed me and were sure that you caught him red-handed, and now you dragged me and the others who believed in him to the mud. I am sure that if his staff tried going to other school we will be thrown out when they saw our resume, because pretty much we aren't trusted to even teach students in the first place. Both All Might and Nezu hung their head down as they knew he was right. Not long after they reached a massive black door, and though that this was exaggerated, but when it was opened it revealed expensive furniture making them wide-eye. Midnight, shocked. For the worst prison, I never expected that. It looks like a place a government official would stay at. The warden unwillingly gave a slight smirk as he knew she was right on the money. It didn't go unnoticed by Aizawa, who had a wide eye himself as he realized that Izuku is somehow involved with the higher-ups, and if he wasn't scared before now he dreaded this visit. He seriously want to have his cat nap. The warden then knocked on the door before a "come in" was given. Warden smirked. You were right on the money, Midnight. That took her off guard as the door was opened revealing Izuku blankly staring at the door with his arms around a girl with glasses. Warden saluted. Sir, we have brought them here. Izuku, blank. Thank you warden, now you are dismissed. The warden nodded before he took off along with the guards. This shocked the UA staff and principal to the core. Just now the warden was treating a fucking prisoner as his superior and they were internally freaking out, with All Might not faring any better. Izuku of course was internally smirking as he really enjoyed the scared faces of them before he just gestured them to get seated. They of course got seated, but they were quiet, which was amusing to both Izuku and Khalifa. Izuku. So what do you prefer to drink? Principal Nezu, former number 1 All Might, Eraserhead and Midnight. They looked at the drink and were about to argue about age of consent, but they held their tongue as all of them agreed on champagne, with Izuku putting in ice and poured some of the drink before they drank it. Izuku, hiding his smirk, so what does the principal of UA came here for? Izuku already knew what they are here for, but if there is one thing he learned from others toying with other emotions, is he knew how much they are cracking under pressure. As here a person that was supposed to be in a dirty cell seen in a fucking penthouse drinking champagne, having a woman next to him and wearing a suit. Nezu, afraid, Mr. Shimura, we have discovered that you were not the UA traitor. Izuku, cut off, you mean was told by the League of Villain. Nezu, gulped, yeah. We wanted to know if you were willing to return to UA to continue your studies as a hero. We also apologize for not giving you the basic right. The staff were looking at Izuku with hope, or more like All Might was. Khalifa was curious about the response he will give. Izuku, casually, no, I won't be returning to UA. Nezu. Thank God. What? Everyone except Khalifa were shocked, with Aizawa having expected that, but he hoped that his student would return. All Might, panicked. But young Shimura, your grandmother Nana used to attend UA as well. Izuku, glare. Using my grandmother name to try to persuade me to rejoin UA won't make me budge. I don't think she will approve of how UA threw her grandson in a heartbeat to the worst prison in Japan, and beside, you just want me back to make amends to your betrayal towards me as your successor. Nezu, trying to sound intimidating. Then we will have no choice but to leave you here in prison for the rest of your life. Aizawa, angry. Nezu, midnight, angry, principal. Izuku and Khalifa laugh hard, making Nezu shrink in fear, as he hoped that would scare Izuku into returning, but it was clearly not working at all. Izuku and Khalifa wiped their tears. Izuku. Sorry, that was quite funny. Nezu, you see, UA is in a bad position right now, and you are hoping to use the opportunity of my arrival at UA to fix the damage that you and All Might started. After all, the reputation of UA is more important to you than the safety of the student, not to mention you are currently losing money, which means no robots. No fake cities, which in my opinion is completely useless and biased. Besides, threatening me with keeping me in Tartarus will only worsen your reputation even further, as there are cameras placed here recording the conversation and could go out. I am currently imagining the headline: UA principal threatened wrong convicted UA student with increasing sentence for refusing to return to UA. Nezu bit his tongue as he realized he was screwing himself even further, so he shut up. Aizawa. Shimura, I apologize on behalf of those two idiots for not using their brain. I don't even know if his high spec is malfunctioning or not. Nezu felt insulted, but he kept quiet, not wanting to screw UA even more than he already did. Izuku. Apology accepted. Eraserhead. I will be telling everyone that there are people who believed in my innocence, which I hope will cause them to cease their onslaught on innocent students and staff member who were thrown into this mess because of Nezu and All Might. Midnight. Thank you, Shimura, for understanding. We will be taking our leave. I am sure you will be released as of now. As Izuku nodded before Aizawa wrapped his capture gear around All Might and Nezu dragged them out of the penthouse, making Izuku and Khalifa snicker. After the doors closed, Khalifa pounced on Izuku before she hungrily started to make out with him, as she was quite happy that he is staying with them. Khalifa. I thought you would return to them. Izuku, smirk, as if I will return there to people who believed I was traitor. Besides, UA is in a bad shape right now and don't need to get onto the crossfire. Izuku then carried Khalifa bridal style as they headed towards the bed to have some rest after this long and annoying conversation. No one Pav. It has been a week so far, and Izuku has moved to a mansion owned by CP9, which was rather fancy to say the least. Izuku learned that the world government own a lot of mansion in each country, so their agents could feel more relaxed when performing their task given to them. Today an announcement from the world government came to Izuku, which brought a smirk on his face as he gave a nod to the rest of the group, who smirked as well. Izuku found himself seated in a comfortable chair. Right in front of him was a camera which was recording him. Izuku was holding a paper as he then took a deep breath before giving a stoic expression. Izuku. Hello people of Japan. My name is Izuku Midoriya Shimura. I've come here to announce that I've been doing well this 1.5 months after I was convicted of being the UA traitor, as a group of the world government has took interest in me and my ideology and trained me to the fullest, as I am now part of them. I won't delve much about my life at Tartarus, and I will get to the announcement a week ago. Principal Nezu. Eraserhead, All Might and Midnight came to release me from Tartarus. Principal Nezu and All Might wanted me back to Ua, even went as far as to threaten me with life in prison when I declined, but sadly for the two of them I have authority far more than both of them. The other two pro-heroes tried to stop them from doing anything stupid that would put them at greater risk. As you see, not all staff at UA and students believed that I was traitor. A lot strongly believed in my innocence. The only ones who didn't believe in my innocence was Principal Nezu. All Might. A lot of students at Class 1A except few and some students who didn't know me well. Now the only reason I am releasing this information right now is that the world government has given me the green sign along with few announcement from their part. Back at UA. Class 1A, Class 1B, Hitoshi Shinso, Big 3, staff were watching the recording, and when they saw Izuku, those who didn't believe him paled, but the one who was scared in all of this was Nezu and All Might, as they could see the glint in his eyes. Mina, afraid. Is he? Iida, afraid. I am afraid, so is Shido-san. Katsuki, smirk. This is what happens when you turn your back on the nerd. Izuku started talking about how a group of world government has took interest in him and trained him, and spoke about his meeting with Principal Nezu, All Might, Eraserhead and Midnight, including lessening the onslaught of the media on all staff. Nezu, pale. Oh no, he didn't just do that. All Might, pale. I am so sorry. Katsuki, glare. You want to tell me you were threatening him to return to UA? Good job. UA will be shut down because of your lack of brain cells. Mirio, glare. How could you? All Might? You know that Izuku was a good kid, yet you send him to prison with no parole, and now you threaten him. Sir would be disappointed. Aizawa, smirk. At least it won't be added into my resume, so I can teach all I want without having those stupid media chasing me. Midnight, smile. At least he protected us innocent staff and students from the media onslaught. Back with Izuku. Izuku. Now then, this letter is an announcement from Admiral Sengoku. First Order Principal Nezu will be stripped of his position as the UA principal, and his teaching license will be revoked, as he have seen to act on feelings rather than logic, as he sent Izuku Shimura with only one proof, which wasn't enough to convict him to prison. The second reason is that he was seen to use the money unwisely on big doors and halls and robots, which are biased against those non-combat quirk who seek to join the hero course. Third reason, he have been poorly paying the staff and overworking them. Fourth reason, he have seen allowing students without checking their background and allowing teacher likes All Might who have no teaching license to teach to students. Izuku then turned to the next page as he held the same stoic expression, not fazed that he just ruined someone's career, but he didn't care as they deserve it. Izuku. Second announcement, former #1 hero. All Might is fired as he was shown to have no qualities as a teacher and no teaching license, allowing him to pass certain action that can be deemed as life-threatening on the student's life. He was also shown to make poor decision as he was required to attend the USJ incident from the beginning, all for saving civilians, which could have been handled by other heroes, that led to the endangerment of the students and even certain death. Back at UA. Nezu and All Might were extremely pale at the two announcement. Just know they were pretty much told that they are fired. Aizawa had a shit-eating grin and Katsuki was laughing. Aizawa. Shit-eating grin. Even the world government agree that we are paid poorly. Shinso. Smirk. They even said that the entrance exam is biased. Glad to know I am not the only one who think that. Katsuki. Laughing. This is hilarious. The nerd just pretty much fired both of your asses. Uraraka. Scared. This isn't funny. If he fired the principal, what will happen to Ua or us? Everyone then returned to look at the screen, anticipating the other announcement. Back with Izuku. Izuku. Third and final announcement. UA will fall under the jurisdiction of the world government, meaning that UA will be rewritten to fit the world government satisfaction. The staff are allowed to stay at UA. They will be given higher salary and depending on their performance can expect a raise. The entrance exam will be changed to allow quirkless, quirk that people perceive as villainous or weak quirk, non-combat quirk to join UA if they have shown great promise. The security of UA will be doubled with agents being dispatched to protect the students, so incident like the USJ summer camp never repeat itself. More staff will be hired to relieve the workload on the small staff that are currently hired. A lot of students will be expelled if shown to not take their training and studies seriously. Training facility will be created to help train students in every situation. Back at UA. Everyone. What? Aizawa. Thinking. It isn't bad, we get pretty much a lot of our rights that was stripped because of Nezu. Midnight. Yeah, I have to agree with Shota on this one. Cementos. Dispatch agent. Damn, they are not playing around. Zero. This got to be a joke, he is trying to scare us. Katsuki, laughing. If there is one thing I know about the nerd is that he never joke about sensitive matter like this. Aizawa. And everyone tell me that I am cruel for expelling a lot of people, they are pretty much gonna clean this school from top to bottom. Vlad, concern. I just hope they don't turn the school in a military. Aizawa. Don't worry, the world government won't be strict, they will let you do what you want if you are keeping good grades and good performance. If you fall you will be given warning and before long you will be expelled if deemed that you are not taking this seriously. Back with Izuku. Izuku. That is all the announcement so far and a piece of advice for those who are joining UA or remaining UA. This will be hard, you will be trained until you are on the ground panting for air, so take this seriously. The world government may be lenient but they expect that you perform well in your studies and training. Also for those who don't believe me, here is the letter itself and the signature. Also the world government will be confirming this later on. Izuku showed the letter which showed the signature of Admiral Sengoku, the logo of the world government. Izuku. Now that is out of the way, I wish you all luck. The camera then ended as the member of CP9 high-fived Izuku and praised him for his good performance and for being professional. Japan. Japan was in shock just now. The innocent Izuku Shimura has announced to the world of being part of the world government. Not only that he fired both All Might and Principal Nezu, also announced that UA is under the jurisdiction of the world government and their plans of how he will change UA. The people calmed down and they started having hope for the heroes as the world government is gonna take care of the next generation of UA. This of course did not sit well with the League of Villain as Shigaraki was pissed that his cousin just once more came back from the dead and ruined his plans of throwing Japan into chaos by implanting the seed of doubt on the people. The heroes started working more as the people stopped throwing objects at them and started appreciating them. Right now the Hero Society and every hero out in Japan were grateful for Izuku Midoriya Shimura. It was merely Izuku's presence that stopped a war from breaking out in Japan. The people started calling him the symbol of hope. No one pav. It has been 4 days ever since Izuku announced to the whole world the decision from the world government for the whole country of Japan. It was a blessing in disguise as their trust in heroes have increased once more after it was shattered by Shigaraki Tamura. The top heroes and heroes in general were extremely grateful for Izuku coming out and saving them from a civil war, but despite the public joy there were people who were upset that would be the League of Villains as their plan to throw Japan into chaos was destroyed by the same person they wanted to get rid of, as well as Nezu and All Might, who was driven into early retirement as Nezu was only allowed to interfere in higher cases that needs planning. All Might, who had OFA, lost it suddenly one night as the users deemed him unfit to wield it. Flashback. It was 2 days after the announcement and things have been going slightly better than it used to be. We now see the former symbol of peace moving his stuff to his small mansion. Despite how he treated Izuku, he was still somewhat humble when buying stuff. The reason why the public haven't been hard on him was because of his donation. He was currently exhausted from moving a lot of things in his house, so he went to his bed, which was rather nice and big to fit him in his skinny form and buff form. Falling on the bed, he adjusted the watch to wake him up in a few hours before he fell into deep slumber, but he was woken up to see himself in dark plane. That's when he saw the users of OFA and his mother figure Nana Shimura, who had a sad face and disappointment which seemed to be directed towards herself and him. He was broken out of his stare with a kind and gentle voice. Turning around he saw a frail man with white hair which reminded him of AFO, but he knew that this was the first user of OFA. He wondered why he was brought here. First user. I can see your confusion, child, but don't worry, we have a few words to get here. All Might. I am listening, sir. Daigoro Banjo. We have watched what you have done with the 9th user of OFA and we are extremely disappointed. All Might, realizing what was happening, lowered his head as he had his eye closed, ashamed of himself. A kind hand came to his jaw, raising it to be met with his master face. It was then that tears started falling from his eyes, realizing the gravity of his mistake. Nana could see it and she sympathized with him. She might have been slightly angry towards him for harming her grandson, but he was still her student and it was partly her fault for not teaching him enough. She knew he was extremely dense and act on emotion rather than logic, and besides she knew full well that all of the users had done mistakes as well. Nana, weak smile. Although I am disappointed with how you handled the situation, I can't fully blame you as I haven't taught you how to act in certain situation like this. I knew you were always acting on emotion rather than logic, so we are not here to reprimand you. All of us had our own fair share of mistakes. I, for example, had put both my children in the orphanage. All Might, sad, but you done this to protect them from AFO. Nana, sadly. And look what it brought me. My son grew to harbor hate towards me and heroes in general, making him take his anger out on his son Tenko for wanting to become hero, resulting in creating Shigaraki Tamura, and now Izuku will have to fight his own cousin because I never looked ahead of what my action could lead. All Might felt relieved that he won't be reprimanded and insulted for being a bad user and mentor. 6th user. We will get to the chase. 8th user. We are extremely grateful that you took down AFO as it brought joy to me and the others, but you were injured, having half of your respiratory system destroyed, and we can't support your muscle form like we used to, given that the last fight with AFO had also done damage. That's why we are here to tell you that we will be transferring ourselves to someone else. All Might, shocked. Who? Is it Mirio Tagada? 4th user. No. Although Mirio Tagada is a good candidate, I don't see him as the type that could handle this much responsibility, and I am sure you already know who we are transferring to. All Might, I widen. But, what if he refuse after everything I done to him? Nana. That's where I come in. I saw how he turned out after he left the Tartarus, and it break my heart to see being cold. All Might, sigh. Then I will leave it to you all to take care of it. I know that me offering the quirk to him, he will misinterpret it as me trying to earn his forgiveness through OFA, which is the last thing I want him to think. 1st user, smile. Thank you for understanding. 8th user. Despite what happened, you will still be part of us. Just make sure to make it up to him and be there for him even if he doesn't want it, but don't push him too much. All Might, smile. I understand. Thank you. It was thanks to OFA that I was able to become the symbol of peace. I never forgot where I came from. I am honored to have been part of the big family. Nana, smile. Now raise your head, Toshinori. No matter what, I want you to know that I will always be proud of what you accomplish. Now enjoy your life and get yourself someone you like. I don't want to see you living alone like this. All Might, sigh. I will try, master. 1st user. Now this is farewell for now. 8th user. End of flashback. Izuku, on the other hand, had experienced the same vision of OFA and got to talk with the other users of OFA. He was a little hesitant to accept the power once more, but seeing his grandmother face, accepted it. Flashback. Izuku was seen sleeping with Khalifa in bed as his eyes shut down, but was woken in a familiar mindscape, realizing that it was OFA. He sighed in annoyance as he wanted to get this over with, so he walked towards where he saw the user of OFA. Izuku. May I ask what brings me here? If I remember correctly, I don't have OFA. 1st user. Hello Izuku Shimura. It's nice to see each other once more. We apologize for pulling you so suddenly, but we wanted to talk to you about OFA. Izuku. What is it that you want to talk to me about? Daigoro Banjo. We want you to have OFA back, Izuku. Why that? You do know what the 8th user did, right? So why would I accept the same power that was taken from me in an instant after a year of pain and suffering and hard work? 6th user. We understand that having to receive the same quirk that was forcefully taken from you is not the best image to us OFA users, but I hope you understand that we had no intention of leaving you, kid. Izuku. If I remember correctly from what All Might told me is that OFA can't be taken by force, so how come he was able to take it from me like it was normal thing? 4th user, sigh. The 8th user forgot to explain to you this part. The previous user can take back the quirk from his protege if he deem him unworthy. Think of it like a backup system if the current user turned to be corrupted somehow, because if we don't have this, then OFA could have fallen in the wrong hand a long time ago. Izuku sighed as he understood that this wasn't the fault of the user that such mechanism was created, and he thought it was a good thing for OFA to have. Nana. Izuku, we want you to carry the legacy of OFA? Izuku looked towards his grandma, who had a sad look. He could see that she wants to hug him, but she is hesitant. Izuku do know the history of his grandmother and doesn't blame her, so he decided to hug her, making her eye widen before she hugged back as she cried on his shoulder. The other user watched in sympathy as they knew that Nana was the most affected out of them as the weight of having abandoned both of her children and creating the soon-to-be AFO. Izuku. I know what you are thinking, and you need to drop it. Me and my mother never blamed you for your decision, as we understood your position, especially Mom. She knew she would have done the same if she was put in the same position, and about OFA I accept. Nana felt relieved that her daughter doesn't hate her like her son, and that she understood her, and was also happy that Izuku also doesn't hate her and instead love her back. Izuku. Also, if I disliked you I would have not taken the Shimura name. Besides, you are my role model. Nana. Thank you Izuku, you don't know how much this means to me. Izuku patted her back slowly as she looked at him before she kissed him in the forehead and stood up as she had Izuku in a hug, making the users happy with the wholesome moment. 1st user, smile. Then it's decided. Welcome back, ninth user Izuku Shimura. Izuku. Thank you. Izuku then started to disappear as he was brought to the living world, leaving the user on their own. The sixth user approached Nana, patting her back. Sixth user. I told you, Nana, he would never hate you. I hope this will be able to heal your heart once more. Nana. Wipe her tears. Thank you, sir. First user. Also, because OFA was passed to the eighth user and then passed once more to Izuku, it grew more powerful, meaning our communication with him became stronger than before, so if you want he can go to the mindscape to talk to us or you, or we could pull him inside. Daigoro. Holy shit, look guys. The users turned around to see Daigoro wearing Hawaii clothes. The user's eyes widen. Fourth user. Daigoro, what did you do? Daigoro. This is fucking awesome. I only have to think of what I want and it will come. HAHAHAH. The sixth user eye widened in disbelief before he had devilish smile. Not 5 minutes later we could see the sixth user who was taller than he was previously as he laughed manically, looking down at the fourth user who was taller than most of them. Sixth user. Laugh maniacally. Ha 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 ha. You people are shorter than me. I will be ruling the world. Where is that bastard AFO? I want to show him how small he is compared to me now. MUAWAHAHAHAHA. The first user was seen in a corner with tons of hero manga as he was reading with star eyes. First user. Spider-Man is so cool. Daigoro was going on a creation spree as he created a pool table, swimming pool, and God knows what he is going to create. Daigoro. This is the best day ever out of my miserable life. The second user was seen with the first user fanboying over hero manga. Nana was having gym equipment and was bench pressing. Nana, excitedly. This is amazing, I get to train again. All in all, the users were having the time of their life. End of flashback. No one POV. It has been 2 weeks ever since Izuku announced the orders from the world government. Surely enough, Nezu was out of Ua by the end of the week. Following behind him was All Might. Aizawa was given a temporary principal position until they dispatch their agents and prepare everything that is necessary. Izuku at the time has kept up with practicing Rokushiki but added OFA into the equation as he tried to boost his Rokushiki, which worked miraculously. Izuku had to admit OFA is great as it boosts his stamina, allowing him to continue for much longer time both in bed and in training, not to mention it increased durability, making him quite powerful as he can compete with Lucci on even level. But then again, Lucci had something Izuku doesn't have, and that is experience, but despite his losses he was satisfied with the result as he currently can control 75% of the power, which is much more better than his 1520% before. Izuku also kept talking with the other users, and he have to admit they were lively people, and he started to smile more around them, which made them happy that they get to crack his cold persona. Overall, Izuku had made progress physically and mentally. Izuku was seen sitting in a desk as he was reviewing some papers. Izuku was assigned to the shipment as they were trying to ship advanced technology into UA. He was also somewhat of an ambassador as he is the second in command to represent CP9, so he would often meet up with leaders if Lucci was not present or didn't simply want to go, mainly because he wanted Izuku to gain experience. A knock came at his door as Kaku walked in with a smile on his face. Izuku smiled back. Izuku. Kaku, what brings you here? Is my help needed somewhere? Kaku. Smile. Hello Izuku. Yeah, Lucci is currently busy with a few paperwork and the Straw Hat are here from the request of the world government, so you have to guide them to the mansion, and if they want a tour around Japan make sure to come at 5 p.m. Izuku. Understood, I have already finished with the paperwork, lucky me. Kaku. Smile. I always wonder how you can sit and fill those papers, it can be quite annoying. Izuku. Yeah, it is boring, but then again we are planning to improve UA for the better, I hope so it will be worth it. Izuku stood up as he wore his suit as he walked out of the room, making sure he had everything on him for the trip. He gave a kiss to Khalifa before he walked outside the mansion. Standing in front of the gate was a driver which will bring Izuku to the shore where you will meet the Straw Hat. The car started to drive there as he looked through the window, recounting how far he went in his life. He had his ups and downs which he wouldn't trade for anything as it shaped him for who he is today. After a long hour of driving they arrived to their destination as Izuku opened the door, walking outside as he covered his face slightly from the sun. Izuku. Thank you for driving me here. Driver. No problem sir, I will be waiting for further orders. Izuku nodded as he walked towards the shore, seeing a huge ship, and that would be the Thousand Sunny. It might not have been the biggest ship that the world government have, but the ship was special as it was made by one of its member called Frankie, and like the name implies, it is made to withstand thousands of journey, and it proved to be true as it maintained itself for years. So you must be the infamous Izuku Shimura, nice to meet you. Izuku then turned around to be met with a tall and slender young woman with shoulder-length black hair, and eyes that have dark, wide pupils. She also has a long, thin and defined nose. Izuku wouldn't show it, but it was love at first sight, but he knew love isn't easy. Unaware that the woman in front of him had the same thought, deciding to break the awkward atmosphere, he responded. Izuku. Thought with stoic expression, what a beauty. Thought. What a handsome man. Picture don't do justice. Izuku. Oh. Nico Robin, it's a great pleasure to meet a fellow comrade. Izuku, being taught to be a gentleman, got on his knees as he grabbed her hand, kissing it lightly, making Robin blush slightly. Robin. You are such a gentleman. Now come with me, I will take you to see the captain. Izuku. Smile. Please lead the way. Izuku followed next to Robin, slightly being behind her as he was not familiar with the ship interior. Walking to a door, she knocked on it as she received a "Come in." Opening the door, she was met with the rest of the Straw Hats. Robin. Captain, I brought him here. The room wasn't what Izuku expected, as it had an aquarium with a big sofa. He was honestly impressed. Izuku. Smile. Hello, Captain Luffy of the Straw Hat. It's a pleasure to meet you in person. I've heard a lot about you and your adventures. Luffy. Cheerfully. No need to be formal, man. We are all here friends and family no matter what, besides we are the same age. Izuku. Smile. Well, thank you. I guess I have to introduce myself. The name is Izuku Shimura. Nami. Izuku Shimura. I heard about you. They say that you are seen as a hero because of your video that you posted on the social media. Izuku. Smile. Although I am seen as a hero, I didn't do much. What I did was follow the instruction from the Admiral, an announced decision taken by the world government. Robin. We kind of read through your history, so we want to apologize for how things went for you. Izuku. Smile. Don't be. I've already gotten over it. I won't be a good CP9 member if I let my past hunt me. Robin smiled as she remembered how she was also lived hunted by her past and her desire to seek revenge on the world government, that is, until she met Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hat. She was honestly inspired by Izuku. Despite the many downs he had in his life, he simply stood tall. Luffy. Now then, I assume you already know our members since Lucci is your leader. Izuku. Nod. Correct. Zoro. Meeting will be boring. Can't we stay any longer? Izuku. Don't worry, I was told that I can take you in a tour around Japan until 5 p.m. so we have around 6 hours before we need to arrive, so what do you say? Sanji. That would be great. I would like to see the cuisine that Japan has to offer. Izuku. I can offer some of the restaurant and shops that sells one of the finest cuisine in Japan. Sanji. Smile. That would be nice. It seems you are also a man of great taste. Izuku. Thank you, Sanji. I was taught by CP9, so I know my way around here. Also, if you are planning to separate, make sure to decide on a meeting point, especially you, Zoro. It's best if you are with someone, since I heard that you have a habit of getting lost. No offense. Zoro. TCH. Fine. Izuku. I know a lot of shops that sell swords. Who knows, you might find something interesting. Zoro ear perked up as he was curious as well at the swords sold in Japan and wanted to see it for himself, so he simply agreed. Zoro. Grin. I accept. Izuku. Chopper, our medical technology isn't the best, but I suggest you walk with someone and not alone, since animals with quirks aren't treated nicely and are used as lab rats, so be careful. Chopper shivered as he grabbed onto Usopp tightly. Izuku. Frankie, we don't have the best technology like I mentioned to Chopper, but a year or two ago I cleaned a beach which was full of trash. Most of them had wasted gadgets, which I know you will make good use of it. I will be sending the location of where we placed it. Frankie. Super. Thanks, man. Izuku. Also, Nami, there is a lot of malls around here which sell a lot of things that could be to your taste. Nami. Thanks, I really need to go for another shopping spree. Luffy deflated as he pulled his credit card with a pain in his heart as he handed it to Nami, who smiled before she pecked Luffy on the lips happily. He knew she would destroy his bank account in a few hours. Luffy. Fuck my life, Nami. Come on, Luffy, you know there will reward later. Luffy, ear perk up. That would be worth it, Izuku. Also Nami, after you finish with your shopping spree, call us so we can pick you up along with your bags. Nami. Thanks, Izuku. Robin, there are library here with ancient books that will pique your interest. Robin was interested as it's rare to find old books that date before Quirk era, so she had her attention directed to Izuku as she had a tinge of excitement in her eyes. Luffy. Now, let us separate into 2 to 3. Sanji and Zoro, you are both together. Frankie, you are paired with Brook. Chopper, you are paired with Usopp. Nami, you are paired with me. That leaves Izuku and Robin. Any more questions? Nobody argued except Sanji and Zoro, who were grunted a little but decided to follow the order of their captain, as everyone took different routes, with Izuku sending to each of them a location on Google Maps which will make things easier for them to walk in Japan. Izuku. Smile. I guess that leaves us together, Robin. Robin. Lightly blush. Yeah. Izuku was seen walking with Robin in the streets as everyone greeted Izuku and he greeted back, walking towards a quiet road. They kept walking. Robin. So where are we, Izuku-san? Izuku. Well, this is somewhat of an abandoned street as nobody go here since only old people or retired people live here, since it's a quiet place and is away from the noise of the cars and people. Robin. That makes sense. Walking for a few minutes they reached a worn-out door as he opened the door, revealing an old-style library. Walking to the counter he greeted the old man, who was in his 80s, as he took Robin deep inside the library as she was amazed at the amount of books there, and some even caught her eyes. Robin. Amazed. This is amazing. There are books that I want to read. Izuku. Most books here can be sold since pretty much nobody come here. We are pretty much his first customer in years. Robin was amazed at how the old man has his business open despite nobody coming here, but what caught her ear was that she can buy the books, so she basically ran around the place picking books that interested her. Izuku brought her here for a reason, as he went to another section of the library and came back with a stone tablet. Izuku. Robin, I brought you here for this actually. Robin then looked towards Izuku as she stopped shuffling through the books, and when her eyes fell into the stone tablet and saw the writing, her eye widened in disbelief. Robin. Stutter. That's poneglyph. How? She then grabbed the stone tablet slowly, not wanting to clumsily slip and get destroyed on the concrete floor. She then grabbed her reading glasses as she started to decipher the poneglyph. Izuku could see the excitement radiating from her eyes as she took a paper and started to write the translation of it in case if she couldn't buy it. Another hour has passed as she was finished with deciphering the writings by translating it, then understanding the hidden meaning behind it. Robin. Can't believe that such weapon existed. We should probably report that. Izuku. Agreed. Robin then hugged Izuku as she had a smile on her face as Izuku hugged the girl back, as she then placed the poneglyph on the table and decided to look for other section of the library. Not long she had a decent amount of books. Well, that would be decent for her, but for other it will be insanity. She then took the books to the counter. Robin. Sir, if I may ask, can I borrow this books, maybe even buy them? Old man. You can take them, child, for free charge. I can see that you are an intellectual girl. It's nice to see someone who is hungry for knowledge. Robin. Sir, I can't take it for free. Old man. No worries, child, I am dying pretty soon and I hope that one day you could come and take the books, since I have no need for them. The only reason I have left the library open was to found someone who is worthy of taking such a valuable books. Robin nodded as she bowed to the old man in respect as Izuku took some of the books to help ease her load on her. He then called a car which would take them around for a tour around Japan, as she was amazed at the monument and ancient artifact that stood tall for years. Robin. Japan is beautiful, isn't it? Izuku. Smile. Yes. Yes, it is. So where do you want to go next? Robin. How about the ship, since I want to place the books at my room? Izuku. Sure. They then arrived to the Thousand Sunny as they walked inside and placed the books inside her room, which she shared with Nami. She made sure to place it in a compartment under her bed as she smiled happily, feeling accomplished, before she took one of the book and placed it in her handbag to read it later. Izuku then walked towards the kitchen as he started to cook. Another half an hour he brought the food to the table as she was amazed. Robin. I didn't know you were a cook, Izuku-san? Izuku. Well, I had to learn to mature at a quite young age. Don't worry, my mom was quite a nice person, but I didn't want to rely on her as she had her own stress to deal with. Robin. That is pretty noble of you. She then placed her fork on the steak as she placed it on her mouth before she smiled fondly as the taste was amazing to say the least. He might not be Sanji level of cooking, but he earned a high spot in her dictionary. Robin. This is amazing. Izuku. Smile. Thank you. Izuku and Robin ate as they talked about their childhood. And Izuku managed to help her in those next hour let what little left of her self-doubt as Izuku was able to read her like a book since he was also like her by the end. Robin felt happy as her heart fluttered once more around Izuku and realized that she was in love with him. Lucky for her, she knows that Khalifa is willing to share since she read the file and heard about Izuku, so she wants to be part of his harem in the future, but right now she wants to make memories with Izuku. Izuku. The others should be here any minute, so let's prepare to greet them. Izuku then stood up as he was about to walk away, but he was pulled by his arm as he was hugged by Robin, who had a deep blush but had a smile on her face. Izuku couldn't help the tint in his cheek as he also developed feelings for the girl, but what happened next shocked him. She kissed him on the cheek. Robin, blushing. Thank you for today, Izuku-kun. I hope we get to have moments like this together. Izuku, blushing. Yeah, I would love that as well, and I enjoyed our time together. They then walked outside and found the rest of the Straw Hat climbing the ship as Nami had lots of bags, but it was carried by Luffy, who seemed breathless as the bag fell on the floor and he fainted on the ground. Chopper rushed towards the captain in worry as he placed his paw on his neck as he gasped. Chopper. The captain has been defeated by shopping bags. What a truly terrifying opponent. Zoro. I feel bad for Luffy. Sanji nodded grimly as he was also a victim of women's shopping spree. He felt like dying back then. Sanji. Women are truly terrifying creatures. Nami and Robin laughed slightly at the boys as everyone then joined in laughter. It was a happy day for Robin as she met her knight like those romance books she read before and looked towards the smiling Izuku. No one pav. It has been a few days ever since Izuku met the Straw Hat and got to know them to some extent, but the most person he enjoyed company is Robin, and it was obvious to everyone that they were in love with each other. Khalifa was very supportive as she also took a liking to Robin and had welcomed her to the harem, which pleased Robin, but she wanted first to take the relationship slower, thinking that Izuku need to build his trust of her first before they can become a girlfriend and boyfriend, as she knew he had some trust issues, and today is the day where Izuku will finally confess to Robin about his feelings and ask her on a date. Of course Khalifa was preparing him as she want Robin date to be remembered. Izuku was seen walking towards the dock where the Thousand Sunny is there. The Straw Hat was secretly informed by Khalifa about Izuku's plan to confess and decided to leave the two alone by excusing themselves. Izuku was seen holding a bouquet of flower. He was a little nervous, but he managed to keep his composure as he climbed the ship and was met with Robin. She was reading her book, and when she saw him she was quite happy as she jumped to give him a hug. Robin. Izuku-kun, you are here? Izuku. Smile. Yes, Robin-chan, I am here. I want to ask you a question. Robin. Sure. Izuku got on his knees as he brought a bouquet of flower, taking Robin off guard as she realized what will happen and she couldn't contain her excitement. Izuku. Robin, this past week has been extremely nice with you around. I wanted to ask if you were willing to go on a date with me and even become my girlfriend. Robin. Excitement, of course. Took you long enough. I also love you. Nothing can express how much I enjoyed my time with you. Izuku sighed in relief as he handed the flower to her as she took it, taking the scent as she smiled. Izuku stood up from his kneeling position as she wrapped her arms around him as she came closer to his lips, catching it with hers as they started to kiss. They were enjoying it a lot before they separated for air. Izuku. Would you like to go on a date? Robin. I would love that. Robin then headed inside to change to some casual clothes. Izuku was already in a casual clothes which was red shirt and jeans. Izuku has sat on a chair as he had a small smile on his face. He was going on a date with Robin and was glad that the confession went well. After 15 minutes of waiting, Robin came outside and Izuku saw an angel in her place. She smiled brightly as she bent down, giving a smile, making Izuku blush at how beautiful she looked. Robin. Do I look good? Izuku. You look like a goddess. Robin obviously blushed at the compliment as Izuku stood up from his seating position as he locked his arm with her as he gave a wide smile towards her. She smiled back. They then went down as they decided to walk instead of driving as they both liked exploring things and enjoying the beauty of the world. Robin. So what do you have planned for me, my prince in shining armor? Izuku. Lightly blush. Well, we will go to a restaurant. After that we will walk around Japan to explore. Then we will go to a museum that recently opened which I am interested in seeing. Then if we have time we can go to the park. Robin. Smile. I guess we have the whole day for ourselves, huh? Izuku. Of course, if there is anywhere you want to go then don't hesitate to tell me. After all, I want to make the most out of this date. Robin. Smiled. No, it's okay, I quite like our date plan. Izuku then walked Robin to the streets of Mustafa as people told how they looked cute together, which made them happy as they arrived at a restaurant which cooked delicious cuisine. As they walked inside, greeting receptionist. Receptionist. Good morning, kind sir, do you have reservation? Izuku. Smile. Yes, that would be Shimura, Izuku. The receptionist opened his book as he looked through the alphabet S as he found the name which was written Shimura, Izuku. Receptionist. Please proceed inside and hope you both have a nice dinner. Izuku. Thank you. Robin. Thank you. Izuku then walked founding the stairs that lead to the roof as they walked on top, revealing the whole floor empty as it was pretty early in the day, but the reason why Izuku chose the roof is because it gives a beautiful view to the city. Robin was amazed and looked at Izuku, knowing why he chose the roof, and she couldn't be more happier. Robin. This is beautiful, you chose this place intentionally. Izuku. Of course I want to make this memorable, besides what's better than to eat while looking at the city from up. Robin. I love it, Izuku. Glad you like it, now let's order our food. Both Izuku and Robin headed towards a table of two which was near the ledge as it gave them good look of the city as they have took the menu that was placed on the table and gave their order, which was steak with some wine, leaving the chef to cook as they started to engage in conversation. Izuku. I am glad that you are going to be staying here. Robin. Yeah, I never thought I would be an instructor to Ua. Izuku. Have they decided what is your position? Robin. Yes, history teacher. Izuku. Well, that's good, history is after all your favorite subject. Robin. What about you? Izuku. Combat instructor, as I was shown to be good at hand-to-hand combat and quirk analysis, so I can help them improve quickly. Robin. Are you planning to teach someone Rokushiki? Izuku. Depends on the person. If I took a liking to him and he proved to be worthy, then I will teach him. Rokushiki isn't something to be taught lightly to anyone because the training is grueling and require a lot of determination and willpower to complete it or even master it. Robin. Well, you are right. Izuku. What about the rest of the Straw Hat? What position are they taking? Robin. Sanji will be a cook along with Lunch Rush, as they need a chef at the same caliber or even higher than Lunch Rush. He will also teach cooking to those who need food to fight as a way to help them train for survival. Chopper will be a doctor with Recovery Girl. Usopp will be teaching people with long-range attack. Frankie will be an instructor at the support department. Brooke will be a music instructor for those who like to sing or play music in general. Zoro won't do much beside if he chose to train someone in sword, which is high unlikely since he doesn't like to work much and rather sleep. Nami will be teaching geography and Luffy will also be a combat instructor. Izuku. Well, that suits you all well. By now the food came as they started to eat slowly while continuing their talk. They decided to talk about their life, what they like to do. It was honestly the best, as Robin has enjoyed herself as watching the city from up was amazing as she took picture of it along with taking picture with Izuku. Overall they made memory up there as they paid for their meal. Standing up they hold each other hand as they walked towards their next stop, which was a museum which recently opened, and they enjoyed the ancient relics as she took picture of it to study it later as she was amazed at the history that Japan managed to save for quite a long time. Robin. Can't believe such artifacts still exist after 2 decades. I thought it would have been destroyed with quirk being a thing and quite destructive. Izuku. Well, I am glad to know there is people who appreciate going to museum. Robin nodded happily as she was excited to know the history behind each relics and artifact she ran into as they walked to the park, which was empty with only old couple being there. She was quite happy with how the day went as she chose to straddle on Izuku as she wrapped her arms around him as Izuku placed his arm around her waist, pulling her closer to him as they enjoyed the closeness. She then looked at his eye while he did the same. Before long they got close before they catch each other lips in a heated makeout session. This time there was tongue involved as they stayed like this for 10 minutes before they separated, leaving a trail of saliva which is connecting to their mouth as she smiled. Robin. That was my second kiss so far. Izuku. Well, I am glad to be the first to take your first kiss. She then stood up from her straddling position as she patted herself, adjusting her short as Izuku stood up as well, since it was already 5 p.m. and they had to return to their respective home to do their work for their preparation to become staff at UA. They then walked together hand to hand as Robin had her head placed on his shoulder as they walked in silence, enjoying the breeze of air running through their faces as they arrived to the shore where the ship is there. Izuku helped her up before they give a kiss and left as Izuku walked to the mansion to rest as Robin walked to her room, jumping in her bed with a blush on her face. She now is Izuku's girlfriend and she is extremely happy as she looked forward to her next date. No one Pav. Location. Ua High Time. 7:10 a.m. Izuku is seen walking along the Straw Hats towards Ua as today they will be starting their first day as a staff at UA. Aizawa has stepped down as a suitable person took charge, and it was a person nobody has expected. It was the marine hero. Garp. Everyone had to calm Luffy nerve the whole way to the school as 99% he will have to deal with what he call Fist of Love. Standing in front of the gate of Ua, Luffy attempted to turn back and head to the ship but was grabbed by Nami. Luffy. Honey, please let me go, I don't want to deal with him of all people. Nami. Man up Luffy, I don't think he is that bad, besides he is your grandfather. Those who met the guy in person look incredulously towards her, as the guy was known to punch people and had no sense of shame, as Luffy training was no secret to anyone. They were told about how he was thrown at a mere age of 6 to a pit by his own grandfather, or how he was thrown to the jungle and told to hunt food until night. The guy was insane, and to top it all off, no government can punish him since he is above the law itself. Izuku. No worried bro, we have your back. Luffy. Thanks man. Walking inside the gate of Ua, we were looked by some of the early students. Some of them recognized us but kept quiet as the amount of power we were emitting was too much for them. Some even fainted that anyone would think we are using Conqueror Haki, which we don't. The walk to the hallway was silent as Izuku was seen holding Robin hand as they walked, while Luffy was holding Nami hand for comfort, standing in front of the door, which behind it stand the most dangerous man known to mankind. Luffy, being who he is, opened the door without knocking, first revealing Garp. When he got inside, we stepped away from the door as Luffy was seen launching from the wall as he was punched in the face. Garp. You damn brat, when are you going to learn to knock on the door? Luffy. Pain. Ah. That hurts you fucking old man. Garp. Angry. Who are you calling old man? Garp grabbed Luffy by the collar, but seconds later they were seen snoring, making everyone sweat drop, but Garp was the first to wake up. Garp. How dare you sleep when you were being reprimanded? Have a taste of my fist of love. Garp then punched Luffy once more, waking him up as Luffy screaming in agony while holding his head and had a massive bump. Garp then grabbed Luffy by the collar as he dragged him inside the room, not wanting to get punched as well. Izuku knocked on the pretty much broken door. Garp looked at us before he sat down, lighting a cigarette like nothing ever happened. Garp. Calmly. Come inside. Everyone was shocked at how chill the guy is after pretty much almost taking down the entire school, but they decided not to question the guy if they want to be alive, that is, so they got inside. Izuku. Saluted. Shimura. Izuku reporting to duties. The other except Nami and Robin and Sanji and Frankie were confused but followed as well, since Izuku was taught by CP9, which made Garp smile. Garp. Good. At least you are mannered, unlike my idiot of a grandson. Everyone sigh in relief as they gave a thankful look towards Izuku, who helped them avoid having the same fate as Luffy. Garp gestured for the group to sit down as a robot was seen coming towards the broken door, fixing it before leaving. Garp. Smirk. Pretty good, huh? This one of the technology that was created in the marine base by a capable scientist. Frankie. It's good sir, I could do something like that if you want. Garp. That would be good since shipment is kind of costing and take too much time now. On to business. You are the people who will be taking some position as staff. I have checked your files and you all have a teaching license, which is good. I am surprised Luffy and Zoro took it. Usopp. Well, they had no choice in the matter. Nami was quite scary and forced them to take teaching courses, not to mention Robin was the one who taught them. Garp. Smirk. You two girls are good job in teaching my son. Nami was in cloud 9 as she was praised by the marine hero, and Robin kept her smile on her face. Garp. Now then, I assume you will be starting today. Here is the list of the students you will be dealing with. Robin grabbed the files as she looked towards them and her face contorted into surprise. Robin. Second year. Garp. Yes. Sadly, Class 2A from last year have had lack of training compared to Class 2B, while Class 2B had lack of experience compared to Class 2A, so we hope to work on them quite a lot since I've heard most of them are weak. Also, you have the right to expel anyone you deem unfit. Tell me, Shimura, I've heard that you were part of the now Class 2A and knew Class 2B to some extent. What is your opinion? Izuku. To be honest with you sir, I had major dislike to a lot of people in Class 2A given to what happened last year, but if I am being objective I'd say the class are weak, especially since they have been praised quite a lot, making them overconfident in their abilities. Not to mention the entrance exam robot was quite biased and many of the current students don't even deserve a spot in the class. Garp. Intrigued. Tell me those you deem unworthy of staying at UA. Your opinion will be quite valuable and I trust you enough that you won't let your feelings take control. Izuku. Nod. Yes sir. The first that comes to my mind is Minoru Mineta. He is the biggest pervert this school has ever accepted. He had a lot reputation of peeking on girls' changing room, not to mention attempt assault on female classmate, and had no problem of showing his intention, especially when he causally made sexual remark on female classmate. I wouldn't be surprised if he have pictures of female classmate. His aspiration is to become a hero so he can build his own harem, but when faced against danger he would become extremely scared and cower in fear, thinking that the pros will be there to save the day, which was shown in last year USJ. There is also the fact that his size is so small that he would be mistaken for a child, so he would definitely be crushed if the villain engaged into hand-to-hand combat. The only redeemable thing is the fact that he is academically doing well. Garp was shocked, including everyone, as he opened his pen and brought a white paper and wrote the name and made a sign to continue talking. Izuku. Ashiko Uraraka. Her quirk is called Zero Gravity. She has shown to be determined to become strong, as her aspiration is to become rich to support her parents as they are suffering financial problems, but lately it changed, as she now, aside from wanting to become rich to support her parents, she wants to be a good hero so she doesn't have someone die in her arms like Sir Night Eye. So despite my dislike towards her, she has potential and has proven to be worthy of staying at UA. Garp. Good. Continue. Izuku. Tenya Iida. His quirk is called Engine, which is in his calf. He has shown to be a massive rule follower. To be honest, it's best if you don't engage in a conversation with him, as, excuse me for the language, but he have a massive stick in his ass. But aside from that, he has shown to want to become a good hero to maintain his family reputation and to make up for his foolish mistake last year where he went to kill Stain for revenge, but I was there to stop him. Garp. I hate this kid already. Good thing you told me. I will have someone beat that personality out of him or I will punch him myself. Izuku. Denki Kaminari, quirk Electricity, similar to Minoru Mineta. He is a pervert and had no problem showing it, but unlike Mineta he is toned down and only resort to flirting, which ends with him being ear-raped by one of his female classmates. His quirk control is honestly horrible, as he have no idea on how to use his quirk properly and instead use it in a wide range, which could be dangerous as he could hurt his comrades, not to mention he use all his volts at once, which fries his brain, which lead to him being incapacitated. Garp. Another pervert, huh? I guess I will have fun beating someone. Izuku. Koji Koda. Quirk Anavoice. He is quite shy and shows past trauma or some sort of bullying, making him practically a mute despite his quirk needing him to use his voice in order for the quirk to activate. He recently started talking and have been progressing, but he need to get involved more in school activity. Garp. Good. Izuku. Toru Hagakure, quirk Invisible. She have shown to not take her position as hero student seriously, as she is busy gossiping with her friend Mina Ishido. She is too reliant on her quirk that she think that she can always sneak behind her opponent, which is impossible, but she has shown potential nonetheless and need motivation, as she is not pushed to train hard by the teacher since training is quite easy. Garp. Good. So the problem is training. They think that they will be spending those 3 years partying and having fun. Well, they're in for a rude awakening. Izuku. Katsuki Bakugo. Quirk Explosion. He was, let's just say, my former bully from kindergarten until mid-first year at UA, although when he was in UA he couldn't get physical with me. Back then the teacher have been raising his ego, making him believe that he was undefeated and made declaration of defeating All Might and surpassing him, but soon changed when All Might talked to him after the provisional license when he asked for version 1 after curfew, which landed his house arrest. But he has been changing for the better and have been making effort in talking with the other without shouting or assaulting them. Garp. Good. I would have expelled him if he continued with that attitude. Nobody will get in my school just because of a strong quirk only. Izuku. There is a lot of students, but I only gave you those who I deem important to know first. Garp. Good job. Now then, here is my answer. Minoru Mineta will be expelled starting from today. I will have someone kick him out of the school. Denki Kaminari, despite my dislike, will be given a chance, but he will be left with a warning. As for the other, they will stay, but they will be also given warning. And for the case of Koji Koda and Katsuki Bakugo, they will be given session with our counselor to talk it out and come to a conclusion. Now, do you know anything about Class 2B? Izuku. Not much, but there is people that should be looked into, and the first to come to my mind is Nato Monoma. Quirk copy. The guy has serious problems, as in the first year at UA he have shown to take class rivalry too far that Itsuka Kendo had to knock him out quite a lot, but he had changed once he got his provisional license and was one who believe in my innocence. Garp. Okay, Nato Monoma will also take part in the counseling. Anything else worth mentioning? Izuku shakes his head. No sir. Garp. Good. Now I want you all to head to your new staff lounge made specifically for your group, since you are a bunch of wild people and will only make noise to the older staff, and you will only get used to the place for today before you start teaching tomorrow. Luffy. Thanks Grandpa. Garp. Smile. Good, now get going. Garp then grabbed a mic near his desk and started tapping into it lightly as he took a lot of air in the mouth, and Luffy instinctively covered his ear. Garp. Shout. Minoru Mineta, get your ass to my office right the fuck now. Everyone thought, he's screwed. Izuku. Sir, you must also want to check if he is the UA traitor. Garp. Crack knuckles. Thanks for the information, I will make sure to check it out. Location. UA Height Alliance dorm of 2A. Mineta was seen with a perverted grin on his face as he was seen near the girl's shower. His drool was seen coming out of his mouth. The rest of the boys watched Mineta. Some were annoyed, some just ignored, and some were angry. Mineta. Yaoyorozu boobs. Mina boobs. Uraraka boobs. I can't wait. Iida was going to lecture Mineta about his behavior, but he was cut off by the dorm speaker with Garp voice coming from it. Everyone tensed as they unconsciously stood up with both hands to their side like soldier. Garp. Shout. Minoru Mineta, get your ass to my office right the fuck now. Mineta drool retracted. His lust was turned to pure fear as the man that scared everyone and even made Bakugo afraid is calling him, and from the sound of it this isn't good for him. Kaminari. Dude, what did you do to make that monster angry? Tokiyami, shivering. May your darkened and tainted soul find peace, my old friend, for you have messed with a foe that have surpassed that of the darkness of the abyss. Mineta went to his room as he grabbed his porn stash, hugging it as he cried, kissing it. Mineta. Goodbye my precious treasures, I might not make it out alive, for this monster will pluck my head out of my body like a Barbie doll. Zero got inside Mineta room as he wrapped his tape around him and pulled him out of the room as Mineta was grabbing the porn stash, pulling it with him. Mineta. I won't let you go my precious treasures, if we die together. Zero. Dude, you need to go there immediately, you know as well as I do how the guy feel about late people. Mineta was dragged the principal office crying blood as he read the porn magazine in front of everyone, as he knew that he won't live to see the next day, so at least he could die happy while looking at Mount Lady curves. Location. Principal GARP office. Garp was seen irritated that kid is late. He then clenched his fist as he will prepare his fist of hate and smirked evilly. The door was knocked, which he gave the signal. Opening the door, he saw Honda Zero dragging what looks like a shrimp who was crying blood while reading porn magazine. His smirk grew. Garp. Laugh evilly. Oh ho ho. So you prepared yourself for death, what a smart boy you are, Minoru Mineta. Zero. Honda Zero has dragged the subject Minoru Mineta to the principal office. Garp. Smirk. Good boy Zero. Now out of the office, you better start the funeral because your former friend is a dead man. Zero gulped as he rushed out of the office. Mineta, when hearing this, attempted to escape, but Garp's smirk never faded as he pressed a red button. The whole window shut down along with the door with metal. Garp. Oh. Come on, don't tell me you're running away from me, you're hurting my feelings now. How about you sit down, Minoru Mineta, and have a little chat, don't you think? Garp approached Mineta while cracking his knuckles, while Mineta backed away in fear, wetting his pants in the process as his back hit a dead end, and that is the metal door. Mineta. Plead. No, 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 please get away from me, I will give you all my porn stash for free. Bam. 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 Location. Izuku and Straw Hat new staff room. Luffy. Oh. Man, that was tiring. Nami. Luffy, we only remodeled the room, it wasn't that big of a deal. Usopp. Gulp. Guys, aren't we going to talk about that Mineta guy? Usopp gulped in fear as he was realizing that the kid was royally screwed. Those who knew Garp gulped as well as they brought their hand together to pray for the fallen student. Nami. Don't exaggerate it, I don't think he will assault a second-year student. His parents could sue him. Luffy and those who knew the guy started laughing hysterically as Nami was getting extremely annoyed. Luffy. That was hilarious, Nami, but you clearly have no idea what you are talking about. The kid is good as dead. On cue, Mineta's scream was heard everywhere. It reached even the dorms. Everyone was terrified. Mineta. Scream in agony. Oh. Please stop it hurtsss. Garp. Scream. Come back here, you won't escape my fist of justice. Several things have been destroyed as the screaming stopped and everyone wondered if Mineta really is dead or is still alive. Nami, terrified. I take that back, seriously, what the hell is your grandfather, a demon? Luffy. A demon, huh? My grandpa can make the demon look like a saint. Izuku. Welp, all we can do is say rest in peace, Minoru Mineta. Everyone. Rest in peace. No one pav. Last time Minoru Mineta was expelled. Let me correct myself, he got shipped to Tartarus. As he was found being the mole in Ua. Apparently the League of Villains bribed him with money and lots of girls in his harem, saying that once they kill All Might and destroy the Hero Society they will kidnap the girls of Ua and let him do as he pleases. That of course was enough to pull the horny grape to their side. He obviously snitched about some of the League of Villains insider, as he thought if he can't get his harem he won't let them also have their harem. There were around 4 moles that were spread out in the other courses as a safety mechanism in case one of them is caught, so they were arrested not before Garp give them his famous fist of justice and send them to the intensive care. The news reached to the media, who immediately shared it to Japan, and the parents were relieved as their children are in safe hands. Some even has transferred back to UA. The reputation of UA grew even more and they knew that they aren't playing around anymore, and when a wave of students were expelled because of varied reasons like playing around, doing poorly in academics, causing troubles and bullying, those were not taking it seriously and managed to avoid Garp radar, which isn't true since there's nothing that can hide itself from Garp. They started to work hard as to not lose their place in UA. Overall the education system was getting back on track like it should be. Today was Izuku's first day at teaching, as he and Zoro were going to be teaching class 2A. Zoro hated this more than anything, but Garp told them to have fun and do what they want and that nobody will expel them or arrest them with the exception of killing the students because they don't want that. The glint in both Zoro and Izuku's eyes showed how much they are excited to training their new students. Izuku have left the staff room that is reserved to them only not before receiving a kiss from Robin. The walk to the class was slow and quiet between the two before Izuku decided to talk. Izuku. I am sure gonna enjoy putting those brats to the ground. Zoro. Smirk. That I do. It's because of them that I am skipping on my sake. Izuku chuckled before they found themselves in front of the door of class 2A. Izuku opened it and walked inside. Everyone who saw him was speechless. They never expected that Izuku would be their teacher, much less chose to stay in UA. Izuku walked to the podium as he stood looking in the eyes of his former friends. Izuku. Hello 2A brats, I am your combat teacher Izuku Shimura. Just call me Shimura-sensei in school unless I give you permission to call me otherwise. Next to me is Roronoa Zoro. Call him Zoro-sensei and be sure to be on your best behavior around him because he won't hesitate to slash you with his swords. Zoro grinned evilly, sending shivers down their spine, and they nodded extremely fast. Iida tried to talk, but just a look from Izuku which says, "Try to talk back and I will kill you." That made him swallow the lump in his throat as he sat quietly. Izuku. Also, there will be rules that need to be followed because believe me, when I saw this there will be problems if you can't follow it. The first rule: I don't want somebody telling me how to do my own job or cut me or any of the staff off if I didn't finish the lesson, because believe me when I say this you will be chucked out of the window, and we have immunity so the Japanese government can't do shit because we are above the law. Everyone shivered uncontrollably in fear as they realized he is dead serious, and Iida knew that was meant for him and dreaded it as he imagined being grabbed and chucked out of the window, not the best way to die. Izuku. Second rule: let's make it clear your combat classes will be hard. No, hard isn't the best word on what we are gonna put you through. We are gonna make you wish you died because we are gonna train you to the ground. There is no walking out of it, so don't half-ass it, because if you do, and we are very very observant, we will have you repeat the whole training once more, and if you complain we will make the training double hard for all of the class. You need to realize that you are not hotshots, you are just babies who doesn't know the potential they have like you. Kaminari, the use of your quirk is completely and utterly pathetic to the point that I am curious as to how you joined UA in the first place. Everyone shivered uncontrollably as they felt fear for the first time in their life, something even Aizawa hadn't managed to do. They felt utter despair. Izuku. Third rules: there is places to eat, play and study, so I don't want some gossiping in my class or trying to catch up in my class or any other classes in that matter. Also be always on time because you need to get used to it because there is no life that could wait the next day. Now that is over, I want you to grab your PE uniform and come meet us outside. You have. Looks at his watch, to 10 minutes to get dressed and come outside. Zoro. 10 minutes is long, 5 minutes is enough. Izuku. You could use that time to drink sake. Zoro. Fine, 10 minutes it is. Everyone sweat drop and wondered if they are even allowed to drink as they could see that Zoro is not older than them, but they just walked out quickly to the changing room. Izuku then picked 2 bottles of sake out of nowhere. Izuku. Brought one of the finest sake in Japan. Wanna have a drink while we wait for the brat? Zoro, grin. Now, you are speaking my language. They walked out with their own bottle as they opened it and started drinking, although Izuku had poured some in his cup as he started to drink. They didn't wait long as after 8 minutes they were down, panting slightly as Izuku smirked. Izuku. You were 2 minutes away from getting punished, but good job. They sigh in relief as they were amazed that they are drinking in front of them nonchalantly, and Bakugo was seen internally smirking. Katsuki. Thought. So the nerd grow a pair. Izuku. Now then, training will start. I want you to start warm-up, stretch your muscles for 10 minutes. Iida took charge as he started doing warm-up with everyone following, not questioning their sensei, who watched with Zoro bonking anyone with his sword, leaving a bump in their head when they did the warm-up incorrectly or were half-ass it. When they continue, they would get bonked harder each time before they were forced to repeat it again. It took around 15 minutes. Izuku. This was supposed to be 10 minutes warm-up. You wasted 5 minutes. The next exercise will be much harder. I want 15 laps around the school ground. No usage of quirk, just your physical strength. I will not accept less unless you can't move any longer. They paled and were planning on protesting, but a glare was enough to give them the message and they started running. At some point some of the weaker ones fell to the ground as Zoro scared them into running again, even chasing them with his swords as they had to run like their life depended on it. After 30 minutes they were done as they were on the ground panting for air as some were holding their leg in pain, with Zoro smirking in satisfaction. Iida. I think I got a cramp. Izuku. Really? Isn't your quirk supposed to be your legs? You should have been doing leg training a long time ago, but don't worry, your senseis will fix that, so be prepared because that's just the warm-up. Kaminari. Warm-up? That's got to be a joke, right? Zoro. Do we look like we are ones to make a joke? Kaminari. No sir. Izuku. Now I want you to do 10 push-ups. Everyone sigh in relief, thinking that it's a simple task as Izuku and Zoro smirk grew. Izuku. Did you really think that I will be that merciful? I want you all to do 100 push-ups right now. Everyone paled as they gulped and started doing push-ups. Some were extremely pathetic, like Toru, who was not able to do even one proper push-up before she fell. Some were doing well, but they were forced to put more effort as after 20 minutes they were on the ground, their arms extremely sore. Izuku. That is good. Now 150 sit-ups. They started doing it, which was far more better than the push-ups, but some had fell at the count of 50 but forced themselves to continue as by the end they were gripping their stomach in pain, some even vomited. Izuku. 100 squats right this instant. They paled even more as after the 15 run around school they were in no position to even run again, to the point that Uraraka fainted. Izuku looked at her in disappointment before Zoro walked towards Kaminari, grabbed him by the collar. Zoro. Listen Pikachu, I want you to use your quirk on her. We don't need her to sleep on us. Everyone gasped in shock that they would go to extreme length. Iida. But sir, with all respect, that's a bit much. Zoro. Need to remind you, brat, that we have immunity, so we can use whatever method we see fit to train you. Kaminari walked towards the knocked out Uraraka as he started to run his electricity around his body, and Izuku got a brilliant idea. Izuku. Also a piece of advice, Kaminari, if she dies you will be arrested and sentenced for life, so this will serve as a lesson on controlling your quirk. Kaminari was scared shitless. If he killed Uraraka, then it's goodbye to use his career as a hero. Izuku knew that at some point he will have to use his quirk to jump start someone hard or wake someone up, so require a good control over his quirk, and he is giving him a situation where the person has fainted. Kaminari start to use 10 volt as it shocked her, but she didn't wake up yet, so he increased to 20 volt, which was enough to make her jump on her feet as she glared at Kaminari, and before she say anything a hand gripped her shoulder and she saw her nightmare Zoro standing, his one eye is glowing red with his sword hanging on his shoulder. Zoro. It's good for you to wake up. We don't want weak-hearted people in my class or school. The next time you faint on us round face, I will make sure that your training will be much harder than this one. So far Izuku have been really nice with you people, but our training is much more worse than this and we never complain. You say that you want to save people, but how are you gonna save them when you are pathetically weak? Uraraka gulped as she had her head down in fear and sadness as she is being reminded at how weak she is as everyone started doing 100 squats as it took them 20 minutes to finally finish it, but they were in no position in moving as their whole body is burning from pain. Izuku. Now. Ding, dong, ding, dong. A sense of relief washed over the students as the class has ended and they are spared. Izuku. Damn. Well, get moving and head to your homeroom. Teacher, don't be late for Aizawa class or I will make the training even harder. Hearing this, they started running to the changing room as they are purely running on adrenaline right now. Izuku and Zoro laughed hard as they really enjoyed torturing the students and they sat down on a rock as they started drinking. With Class 2A, they opened the door revealing Aizawa standing full of life as he was getting enough sleep and money. He was going to comment at how they are on time, but when he saw the state his students are in, he was shocked and wondered what kind of training they were put through. Even Bakugo and Iida and Todoroki and Kirishima were having hard time dragging their feet. It reminded him of the training camp, but it's much worse as they sat on the chair with some letting darkness engulf them. Aizawa. So what kind of training did your senseis put you through? Zero. It was hell. Katsuki. Shut up. Hell can't describe the training we were put through. He made us fucking run around the school 15 times and fucking called it warm-up. Not to mention if we slacked off in the running, we had Zoro-sensei chase us with his 3 swords and was serious about cutting us. He also had Pikachu use his quirk to wake up Uraraka after she fainted and told him that if he killed her he will arrest him for murder. Aizawa for the first time started to give a big shit eating as he had to leave it to 2 idiots with immunity to put his students to the ground. He especially liked how he made Kaminari used his quirk to jumpstart Uraraka. He could see that everything they did was with a reason. Kaminari. Breathing heavily, I'd rather have Aizawa-sensei training than their training. Aizawa. Shit-eating grin. So now you want my training? Well, your fate are sealed anyways. You have 20 minutes to rest. Everyone. Thank you AIZAWASENSEI. The students had finally rested for 20 minutes before Aizawa started the lesson as they walked to their rooms and fell into their bed sleeping. News spread very quickly at the state of 2A after one training session and they were beyond terrified as the famed and strong Class 2A was brought down very quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now we will see you in the next video.